Lake Superior State here in Bowling Green for Game 1 of the conclusion of their 4-game season series against Bowling Green Hockey. A 2-win weekend for the Falcons back in late October against the Lakers in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. That's a large series lead for the Falcons so far. That was the first CCHA series of the season for the Falcons. Both teams have changed quite a lot since that game, and now we're into the meat of 2026 and an 8-3-3 conference record for BG and a 5-9 record for the visiting Lake Superior State Lakers. Myself, Ben Korak, along with Holden Ruck from the Falcon Media Sports Network. Holden, it's great to be back with you. The first time since Ohio State last year that we've been on the call together.
Yeah,
and
been a minute for sure.
First regular season game for you this year. How you feeling, buddy?
Yeah, that's true. Glad to be back on here for the call, and I think we've definitely got a good one coming up here.
We definitely do. The Falcons and the Lakers. Again, the Falcons swept the Lakers in Sault Ste. Marie earlier on this year, 4-1 and 3-2. The final scores, the first sweep and the first wins of the season in conference play for the Falcons. And overall, that was coming off of the Niagara series that they were swept up in Niagara. But now we could talk a little bit more about the start of 2026 since we're past it. Ohio State, Ferris State, back-to-back series, back-to-back very good series for the Falcons, and a win streak continues for Bowling Green.
And that's something that they needed too. Going into the break of the new year, they gave Northern Michigan their only win in CCHA play of the season, and that left a bad taste in the mouth of this team. But in this new year in 26, we've seen a complete shift with this team. Maybe not surprisingly, but you look at a 3-game win streak for them, unbeaten since the second game of that Northern Michigan series. You've got the tie and then a win against Ohio State and a sweep over Ferris State last weekend. This Bowling Green team is, dare I say, maybe the hottest team in the CCHA right now.
Dare you say, Holden, 3-1 win in the first game for Bowling Green over Ferris State, 5-1 win in the second game, and it wasn't even as close as those scores tell you. It was domination for the Falcons, and mainly the main thing we can talk about out of that series and out of the last two has been the goaltending, especially that of Cole Moore, who started 3 of the last 4. He's done very well. He took a win against Ohio State, took a tie against Ohio State, and a win against Ferris State before getting rest on the Saturday game up in Big Rapids. He's been very impressive as of late.
Yeah, Cole Moore, early on in the season struggled. November 7th against Minnesota State, he came out and didn't play again until Bowling Green's exhibition game against the United States national team development program's under-18 squad here at the Slater. A handy 6-1 win for the Falcons in that one, but Cole Moore's just been on an absolute tear. A .923 save percentage and 70 saves in his 3 games of action since then. So Moore very quickly cementing himself as maybe the best option right now for the Falcons.
It does help for the goaltenders as a whole, as Jacob Simon saw time last week. Tyler Palmer hasn't seen time in a while, but is still a very impressive goaltender. It helps that you have a very solid defensive core and a healthy defensive core. Gustav Stjernberg, Jackson Niedermeyer injured toward the end of 2025. They are back and healthy and have played 4 games in a row. And the addition of Ty Higgins has been maybe the biggest theme this calendar year so far in 2026, the biggest addition to this team. He has been so impressive for the Falcons on the blue line.
Yeah, Ty Higgins in just 4 games played for the Falcons, 6 assists, 1.5 assists per game average. Obviously a small sample size, but leads the CCHA in that hot start. You might expect him to cool off a little bit, but I think he's going to continue to be a big contributor. And like you said, a guy like Gustav Stjernberg, Jackson Niedermeyer in particular, these defensemen coming back, these are big enforcers. The Falcons play very physical hockey, as anybody who watched the first period of the second Ohio State game knows. That was physical and all over the place, and that Big Ten team really didn't know what to expect. And the Falcons threw just everything at them, and having those defensive enforcers back and playing their best is going to be critical down the stretch of conference play for the Falcons.
The physicality in this building especially goes up a notch with the crowd control that the Falcons have over the opponent. The defense has been great. The goaltending's been great as well, especially with Cole Moore. The penalty kill has been very good, especially with those 2 bodies. But you look to the offense, and an offense that has scored quite handily. 8 goals in the last series against Ferris State, only 2 goals allowed. You are missing first-line centerman Noah Morneau due to injury, but it's really been Jaden Grant that stepped up in that spot, winning a ton of faceoffs and doing so well to get toward the net.
Absolutely. The assistant captain leading the team in goals with 8. Morneau, certainly a loss not having him in the lineup tonight. He's second on the team with his 7 goals. But as you said, Jaden Grant has really stepped up in that scoring role when, going into the season, there may have been some questions around the Falcons about, who was going to step up into that primary scoring role. And with a myriad of assisting supporters around him on the team, plenty of opportunities sure to come about for him.
Jaden Grant with a 3-game goal streak going in today. He's looking to continue that streak. He's the goal leader on the Falcons alongside the assist leader, Quinn Emerson, with 17 on the season, and the point leader, Quinn Emerson, with 23 on the season. Emerson playing with Duran and Hodson today. Grant playing with Dom Ryman and Brody Waters on the first line today. That'll lead us into Falcon Media Sports Network Pick the Stick. Falcon Media Sports Network members, 4 of them, choose a player before the game starts. 2 points for a goal, 1 point for an assist, and the goalie gets you 3 points, and you lose them as he gives up goals. Holden Ruck, you get the first pick today on your first pick of the season as well. Who are you going to go with?
Yeah, representing the rest of the Falcon Media Sports Network's team. Got to get our point total up here. I'm going with Ty Higgins. You know, it's easy to point at that small sample size, but you got to ride the hot hand when you can. 6 assists in his 4 games played. I want Higgins.
3-game point streak as well for the freshman defenseman. My selection today, I'm going to go with Ben Duran. He's had a pretty solid point streak going that was broke during the Ferris State series, but he has scored quite handily the last couple of games. He's been very consistent, and I think he's going to take some points today. The selection of Lucas Kleinmeyer, our sports director, is Jaden Grant. Again, we mentioned that 3-game goal streak he has and is the team leader in goals. So chasing those 2-point goals is Lucas Kleinmeyer, and then Tyler Kavlitz, our production director, chose Tyler Hodson. 7 goals, 10 assists, and 17 points on the season, top 3 in all 3 of those numbers. He's been a very influential transfer to the Falcons this season. We'll also mention what's going on around the CCHA before Holden gives us his keys to the game. Lake State, obviously, here in Bowling Green. The Falcons have maybe the easiest matchup on the board, aside from Augustana, who is hosting Ferris State. Minnesota State at Michigan Tech up in Houghton, Michigan, and Bemidji State at St. Thomas. The Michigan Tech-Minnesota State game will start at 7:07, same time as this game here in the Slater Family Ice Arena, and Bemidji at St. Thomas will start at 8:07 Eastern time, as well as will Ferris State at Augustana. We'll switch back over to Bowling Green and Lake State as we wrap up our pregame show here. Holden, biggest things you want the Falcons to do today as they try and complete a series sweep over Lake State this year?
Well, I think the biggest thing is going to be continue to play the same hockey that you've been playing since the break. And I know that sounds really simple, but you know, you've got Cole Moore, who's been your hottest goalie on the roster in this new year, and he's getting the start again tonight, and I think that's critical for this team. You know, you're without a couple of guys, as we talked about, but I think you really, really lean on those same guys that have been your reliable guys all year. Quinn Emerson and Breck McKinley creating tons of opportunities, 17 and 16 assists on the year, respectively. I look to them to give opportunities to guys to score and put up a lot of goals like they did in the first series against Lake Superior State.
The only players we can really expect to go on the ice for the first shift is the goaltenders. Cole Moore skated out first for the Falcons. Again, we mentioned a couple of times that how strong he has been the last few games. Not only is it big for the rest of the season to get your junior goaltender back on track, but I think that's going to be a big key today, Holden, is to get him, keep going, make sure it's just not a fluke that he got 3 games in a row of very good goaltender play.
Not at all. He's playing his absolute best. Again, a .923 save percentage in 2026, and you got to just ride the hot hand, and how helpful that's got to be, too, when it comes time for Jacob Steinman and Tyler Palmer to go in the goal also. You know, you've got that support from another really strong goaltender as well, and I think that's just hugely impactful for this goaltender room.
The Falcons have seen 2 goaltenders from Lake Superior State this year. The first one that they saw was Rourke Appleby, who they saw twice last season as well. 3 goals allowed and 41 saves for Appleby, who took a loss 4-1 in the first CCHA game played of the season for both teams. He allowed 2 power play goals during that time, and special teams is going to be a big thing today, as it's very strong for the Falcons and not as strong for the Lakers. Andrew Oak as well, the backup to Rourke Appleby, probably will not start today, but he started game 2 against BG, 3 goals allowed, 35 saves, had the better of the 2 games, but that's his best game played since his win against Stonehill before that Bowling Green game was played. So the goaltender situation, not as good as the Falcons maybe, but Rourke Appleby certainly somebody to mention for the Lakers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, strong goaltending for the Lakers, but I mean, you look at the depth of the Falcons, hypothetically, if Cole Moore's hot streak started to cool off a little bit tonight, they've got 2 other super reliable guys that they can go to in the goal to give them a little bit of a spark and kind of bolster that defense. So I think the Falcons are looking pretty good in that regard going to this one.
2 very talented teams. Lake Superior State 8-13-1 overall, 5-9 in CCHA play. The Falcons 11-5-4 overall, and 8-3-3 in CCHA play as they still chase the top spot in the CCHA. Fifth currently, only 3 points back of the number 1 seed Augustana. We'll talk you through the gameplay and puck drop here at 7:07 in the Slater Family Ice Arena. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
BG Falcon Media is an organization encompassing student media organizations at Bowling Green State University. BG24 is the video component of Falcon Media that creates a weekly live newscast every Tuesday. All videos and live streams can be found on the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel and website, or BG24's Twitter account. BG Falcon Media, empowering students with creative freedom by exploring technologies and focusing on audience engagement and service to our communities.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakovic, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Bowling Green Hockey wraps up their weekend series against Lake Superior State on Saturday, January 17th. Falcon Media Sports Network's Ben Korak and Nathan Burkett will have the call of the game on WBGU 88.1 FM with puck drop at 7:07 p.m. Nate Hinners, Gavin Gill, and Artie Abrego will have an in-studio pregame, halftime, and postgame show starting at 6:40 p.m. BGSU Gymnastics hits the road for the first time this season to take on the Ball State Cardinals in Muncie, Indiana, on Sunday, January 18th in Maxham. Falcon Media Sports Network's Noah Seeley will have the recap of the meet on bgfalconmedia.com.
Since the day I stopped drinking, my life has gotten better and better. I can't take any credit for it. It just seems that without alcohol, I think better, I'm more careful with money, I watch what I say, I don't get into trouble like I did when I was drinking. It's scary trying to walk through life alone, and today I have that very distinct feeling that I don't ever have to be alone again.
Visit AA.org for more information and download the Meeting Guide app to find a meeting near you.
On February 11th, 2025, BGSU senior forward Marcus Johnson nailed an improbable corner three-pointer at the buzzer to give Bowling Green a lead over the Ohio Bobcats going into halftime. Falcon Media Sports Network's Tyler Kavlitz had the call on Falcon Radio.
Thomas looking for someone to inbound it to. Gets into Johnson. Corner three, fading away to baseline. Marcus Johnson nails it. Bowling Green goes into half with the 2-point advantage, 34-32. On the miracle shot by Johnson.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
This is Falcon Media Sports Network hockey coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Back here in the Slater Family Ice Arena, myself, Ben Korak, along with Holden Ruck from the Falcon Media Sports Network. Holden and I are going to set the stage for everybody at home on how big this series is for the Falcons. We discussed the sweep last week over Ferris State. They're the second to last team in the CCHA. We discussed the split weekend that the Falcons actually only took 2 points out of 6 in Northern Michigan, the last series of 2025, which was pretty poor. That against the last place team in the CCHA. This, the third place team in the CCHA, Lake State, this weekend, they head into an absolute typhoon of a schedule the rest of the way, Holden.
Absolutely. You know, you got next week they're going straight into Bemidji State, and Bemidji State's not a slouch either. The way I look at this Lake State game, and the two of them this weekend, I should say this whole series, this is the last lower caliber team in the CCHA that you play. You still have to take on Bemidji State. You have a home and home against Notre Dame, and you take on St. Thomas, Augustana, Minnesota State, and Michigan Tech, the top 4 teams in the CCHA to end out the season. That's a gauntlet, any way you slice it.
It is, and the top 6 teams are separated by just 5 points from first place. The Falcons, who are number 5, are only 3 points from St. Thomas and Augustana in first place. Augustana with 1 more game played than the Falcons, so that might factor into it by the end of the season, but it just continues to place more and more weight on these points every single game. You do have to win pretty much every weekend from here on out, but as we discussed in the Zig Zone, as we probably will every Sunday from here on out at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on WBGU 88.1 FM, every point matters, every series matters, and this one is a big one to get 6 if you're the Falcons.
Yeah, especially because you can look at those other seasons against those top teams that are competing for home advantage in the Mason Cup playoffs, and, beating those teams also keeps them from getting points, but you're not going to find points much easier comparatively than you are tonight against those other teams. So I think it's paramount for the Falcons. They did it once this season already. I think they need to take 6 points this weekend if they want to have a shot at home ice in playoffs.
St. Thomas and Augustana tied for first with 30 points. Michigan Tech and Minnesota State tied for third with 28 points. The Falcons in fifth with 27, and Bemidji in sixth with 25. Lake State chasing by a bit. They have only 17, and the Falcons and the Lakers will drop puck in just a few short minutes here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. You are listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
BGSU women's basketball has started 3-2 in MAC play, and senior forward Kendall Moxie has been a breakout star as of late. On January 3rd against Central Michigan, Moxie posted a double-double stat line of 16 points and 15 rebounds in a close loss. She followed the performance with 15 points and 8 rebounds with a near double-double in the victory over Northern Illinois on January 10th. Overall, on the season, Moxie is shooting over 78% from the final and leading the Falcons in field goal percentage. The Maryland native is making a strong push to be a consistent part of the rotation. This has been 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics.
BG Women's Basketball returns home to the Stroh Center to host the Miami Redhawks on Saturday, January 17th in a MAC showdown. Falcon Media Sports Network's Lucas Kleinmeyer and Trey Kennedy will call the action for the 1 p.m. tip-off on WBGU 88.1 FM as the Falcons look to extend their winning streak to 3 games and improve their 3-win and 2-loss Mid-American Conference record. Listen in by streaming the game on bgfalconmedia.com.
You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM in Bowling Green, Ohio.
What if you were wearing something sexy? What if you were drinking? What if you made the first move? No matter what, sexual assault is never your fault. Support is available 24/7 through the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Call 1-800-656-HOPE or visit RAINN.org. That's RAINN.org. This is Christina Ricci with RAINN, reminding you it's never your fault.
Brought to you by RAINN and this station.
BGSU Gymnastics hits the road for the first time this season to take on the Ball State Cardinals in Muncie, Indiana, on Sunday, January 18th in Maction. Falcon Media Sports Network's Noah Seeley will have the recap of the meet on bgfalconmedia.com.
The NCAA Division I Cabinet has announced new transfer portal windows for the men's and women's college basketball teams. The transfer portal for both sports will open 15 days after their respective national championship games. The women's portal will be open from April 6th through April 20th, while the men's portal will run from April 7th through April 21st. Additionally, when a coaching change occurs, a 15-day transfer portal window will open 5 days after the new coach is hired or publicly announced. To go along with the changes to the off-season transfer portal, any mid-season transfer will no longer be eligible to play in the second half of the season. This has been 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics.
On September 28, 2025, BGSU women's soccer's Lizzie Boltnick scored her first goal in 2 years in a 4-0 win over Central Michigan. She later earned a brace in the win. Falcon Media Sports Network's Henry Costco had the call of her first strike.
It's around Boltnick. Going to have a lot of space here on this side. She's going to be on the breakaway. The 2-on-1. Borgman has to get back towards the goal, and she's got to put it forward over the head of Borgman and in. Lizzie Boltnick. Unbelievable. Taking advantage of Borgman being up near the midfield line.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network feature call.
Broadcasting for over 70 years from Bowling Green State University, 88.1 FM, WBGU, Bowling Green, Ohio.
Hi, this is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Every 2 minutes, another American is sexually assaulted. If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, you are not alone. Help is just a call or click away through the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Please call 1-800-656-HOPE, that's HOPE, or visit rain.org, that's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by Rain and this station.
Check out recaps of this and every BGSU hockey match online at bgfalconmedia.com.
Back here in the Slater Family Ice Arena, puck drop upcoming between the Falcons and the Lakers, another CCHA series, the second of the season for the Falcons, following up their sweep of Ferris State up in Big Rapids last week. They see another Michigan team, this one Lake State, and they got them here in the home barn. Ben Korak along with Holden Ruck from the Falcon Media Sports Network. For all BGSU sports news and updates, go to bgfalconmedia.com and BG_FMSN on Twitter X and BG Falcon Media on Instagram and Facebook as well. Make sure also, because Holden Ruck is with us today, to tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m. We talk about everything going on in Bowling Green athletics, including men's and women's basketball, hockey, and a plethora of other sports and sports happenings. The Falcons win the draw back to Ty Higgins, starting on the defensive pairing with Breck McKinley, as he did in both games against Ferris State. Started with Dalton Norris against Ohio State and has since switched to play with McKinley. Two very nice passers on that defensive pairing. McKinley back around. William Ulrich plays it for Lake State behind the goal line. Mangoni tips it ahead. Lake State quickly into the offensive zone, and then the Falcons trying to force it back out. Brody Waters back to Higgins, who gets it away off the side of his net. McKinley will recenter. The starting forwards for the Falcons, Waters, Grant, and Ryman. They will change off for Emerson, Duran, and Tyler Hodson, another high-scoring line for the Falcons. Go ahead.
I was going to say starting defensively, too, with McKinley and Higgins. Seems like,
good pass slot. Emerson, backdoor, he scores! Tic-tac-toe passing, left side, right side, back to the left, and the Falcons take a 1-0 lead with under a minute expired.
Well, not much more you can say there. Quinn Emerson, Falcons on the board early. I was going to talk about Higgins and McKinley there, but it's a guy coming on the second line for the Falcons, putting the first goal in, not even a minute into play.
Quinn Emerson, 4 points in Game 2 against Ferris State, a career high for points in a game, and he's got a goal here early, assuming Hodson and Duran will each get assists on that play, and the Falcons lead 1-0.
And that's exactly the kind of way you need to start this game for the Falcons. These are critical points against one of the softer teams in the CCHA, points you got to have.
And icing against the Lakers, BG's going to get an O-zone draw And they're going to get it to the left of Rourke Appleby, who has yet to make a save and has a goal allowed. That was the first shot he saw, and he let it through the whole way.
And what an exciting start here for the Falcons for the first home game back with a semester in session. Students and fans alike still kind of pouring in this later here.
Jake Sloan loses the face-off back. Lake State dumps it down in another icing against the Lakers. That was Luke Antonacci that lifted it up high, and Ryan Beck a bit late to get there.
And I think if you're Lake Superior State, you got to just not let the game get ahead of you here. You don't mind icing it out there, going to another face-off, just slowing things down and getting the puck out of your own defensive zone, because being up 1-0 already, Falcons could really blow this one open early.
Not necessarily on tired legs. They did get a change after the goal scored by Quinn Emerson. This one dumped down again. Dalton Norris will race to be the first back. Ryan Beck back with him as well. Beck, the transfer from Colorado College. He played 3 seasons, 99 games played, 41 points. Was scoreless in his first 4 games played this season, and then 15 points in 15 games since. For the first line left winger, playing with Connor Milburn and John Harrington, who are stuck on the ice now after another face-off, after another icing, another draw. Quick shot for the Falcons, and it's whistled wide left. That was Brody Waters' first line back out for the Falcons. Out at center ice, gathered by Grant. McKinley will try and gain the entry. Connor Milburn pokes it out, and now Lake State has the puck. Lead pass up, Lewandowski is hit in front of the Falcon bench. Hodson leaning out off the bench to talk to Lewandowski about that hit. Ryman narrowly misses a hit against Piku. He dishes it out to the left wing side. Grant with the puck, down to Waters behind the goal line. Batchelder flips it ahead. Niedermeyer able to hold it inside the blue line nicely, but it's cleared away by the Lakers. Now the Falcons get it back into the O zone, and they'll go for a change without pressure.
And the Falcons earlier in this one controlling the middle ice very well, just not letting Lake State get any clean possession on their own defensive zone.
Now down the right side comes Lake Superior State. Slot chance, Batchelder, save made, Colmore. Nice stop there by the goaltender with the right leg. Sloan helped him out a bit. First save of the game for Colmore, and a very nice one at that.
Well, of course, as soon as I say that, Ben, then Lake State gets some shots up, but a great job by Colmore. Bounced off of the right guard on his leg and then kind of slid a little in front of him, but able to reach out and corral it, stop something bad from happening. Nice job by Moore, who's been excellent in this year.
Wilson Dahlheimer in for the draw. He lost it to the Falcons. BG, one of only 2 teams in the CCHA to have an over 500 save percentage. A couple of teams nearing in on it, but a 540 save percentage for the Falcons. One of the leaders in the NCAA as well. Big contact in the corner. Braden Crampton slides down behind the goal line. Tanner Scott takes a big hit into the boards. His first game played since the second Northern Michigan game. One of only 3 he's played this season, the freshman. Hunter Ramos, his pass to the slot, deflected away by Norris with his skate. Tripped down to the ice was Crampton. He gets the puck into the corner and pins it up away from center ice danger. Brandon Wynot up the left wing. 3 minutes expired in the first period. 1-0, the Falcons lead. Quinn Emerson with an early goal. Tyler Hodson with an early assist. Played away from their own zone. The Falcons up to the right wing. Emerson, McKinley, and up through center comes Duran. Duran down the left wing. He dishes it out. McKinley streaking down the slot. And a good defensive play there by the Lakers. William Ulrich able to get his stick in the way.
And Hodson just got caught spinning in the middle of the ice there, unable to catch it as Lake Superior moves it around him.
Back in their own zone again. Lake Superior State, the Falcons doing a good job of keeping the puck on the plus side of the center line. Ben Duran, Quinn Emerson, both on the forecheck as Emerson will now head off. Deep pass up. Beck gets a tip on it to avoid the icing. Kurodia gathers. Extra skating for the Falcons today. Ty Higgins has really affected Kurodiak's playing time, who's only extra skated since Higgins has been back in the lineup. Almost a turnover there. Nobody at the blue line to hold it inside the O-zone for the Falcons. They dump it back down. Waters will get there first. He looks to get it out, but 2 defensemen corral him into the half wall. Behind the goal line, Ryman gets a poke check. Into the corner. The Lakers skated away. 2 defensemen back. Kurodiak into the corner. Good poke there. Pass to the slot. Intercepted by Stjernberg, dancing on the blue line. Now it's out to center ice and away. And the Falcons will go for a change.
And a nice job by Stierenberg there, intercepting that pass, but it looked very, very short to try to get to the offenseman there.
Big check on the boards. Batchelder is wrecked against the half wall. Sloan rinks it around. Brett Foe looking to get there first. He doesn't play the angle right. Now up the right wing. Coming Lewandowski. A whistle will blow. And we're going to see what the call is.
Potentially a fortunate one there for Crampton and McKinley there, kind of the only guys in the area trying to get back. Crampton and Sloan, excuse me, not McKinley. Kind of the only guys potentially stopping there from a free shot on Cole Moore. So
a call was made. The microphone was not on. So we don't know what it is. Caleb Mangoni is going to head to the box. He wasn't on the ice when that penalty happened, I don't believe. So I'm sure there's going to be a bench minor for too many men on the ice. The Falcons will get an O-zone face-off and an early power play.
And Bowling Green, a position they like to be in, .231 power play percentage, excuse me.
Tyler Hodson on the right wing, outside the right wing wheel, up to McKinley at the blue line. McKinley and Norris playing on this power play. This to the right wing side, cleared down to the goal line by Ben Duran. He assisted also on that first goal by Emerson, now confirmed by the live stats. And McKinley to Duran, slap shot. Norris in tight with Appleby, and he makes a save in his chest. And a lot for a face-off with 25 seconds expired on the power play.
You still got over a minute and a half left on this power play, and it's a great opportunity for the Falcons. A little bit better in scoring on the power play than Lake Superior State, and shots like that are definitely bound to put them on target eventually.
BG 2 for 4 in the first game and 1 for 3 in the second game against Sault Ste. Marie against the Lakers earlier this season. Batchelder gets control of the faceoff, and he has it in his own zone now. After wasting some time, ices it down. Higgins out on the ice with Braden Crampton, two freshman defensemen that are standards on the power play. Not a bad unit for the Falcons on the power play, really. They've all been able to score. Emerson up to Higgins. Higgins looking for a shot, gives it away. Crampton, he fires it in, blocked by Evan Bushy into the corner. Down to Emerson in the corner. He's back out to the blue line. Ryman holds it in. Off of the half wall, up high on the shelf. Grant back to Ryman in the left wing corner. Ryman with the puck. He feeds it in tight with Appleby. Appleby able to make the save. It's kicked out to center ice. The Lakers will get a change. The Falcons will get a change. Higgins skates around his net with the puck. 40 seconds to go in the man advantage. 1-0, the Falcons lead here in the first.
And a lot of traffic around Appleby on that last shot there. Great job by Lake State clearing it out.
Through center, Duran. The pass too hot for Hodson. Now up to McKinley. McKinley at the blue line. Gives it back. Norris, he shoots. Deflected down. Battling in front there was Brody Waters. And he blocked most of that puck instead of getting a shot off. McKinley to the right wing side. Hodson, good shot. Appleby a better glove. He holds on with 15 to go in the power play.
Really great job by Appleby there. A couple really high shots that were still on target for the goal. Not trivial saves, sticking the hand out in front of the face there. Great job by him.
1-0, the Falcons lead. Emerson, the goal. Hodson and Duran, the assists. Just 51 seconds into the first period, the Falcons scored. Antonacci behind the goal line. Puck bounces up and into the netting in front of what is today a very large student section, and no excuse to not be here in the building. Holden, not too much class stress going on, I'm sure, first week of classes, and pretty cold outside to be walking to places downtown.
Absolutely. They know where they're going Monday through Friday now for their classes. It's time to pack this later, and they showed out tonight for sure.
Back up to the blue line. 5 seconds to go on the power play before Mangoni comes out of the box. Here's McKinley. Down to the goal line. Mangoni out. He now is in the play. McKinley, slap shot deflected down. Waters to try and clean it up. Still dancing in there with Appleby, and he's able to shut it off. The whistle is blown. A successful penalty kill for the Lakers, but sustained pressure for the Falcons.
A lot of pressure from the Falcons, but if you're the Lakers, probably really happy to sneak out of that power play there. Like you said, you've given up a power play goal against the Falcons in both previous meetings. Definitely something that you don't want to do tonight, already down 1-0.
Connor Levis in for the draw. He and Brandon Wynot and Tanner Scott, all freshmen, all on the fourth line. Brandon Wynot been one of the more gracious players on the team and one of the most complimented by head coach Dennis Williams and a play style Willie played with back in the day in his time with the Falcons in 2001 and 2003. Down the right wing comes Adam Baroni. He gets the puck stripped away. Into the right wing corner. Batchelder to fire it in. Lead pass up to Tanner Scott won't land. Connor Levis up through center, picked off by Stjernberg. At center ice, dumped ahead by Levis. Why not to go in, put on some pressure while the rest of the Falcons change. Foe will head on for Why Not. The puck in the Lake Superior State end of the ice. Off the half wall, tipped ahead by Hunter Ramos. 12:20 to go in the first period, and icing against the Lakers by Ramos.
And early in this one, Lake Superior State, I think, has to be happy just trying to slow down the Falcons, keep them from getting too many shots up, and slowly turn the tide. Because right now it feels like the control of the puck, or sustained control of the puck at least, has been all Bowling Green tonight.
Jake Sloan in for the draw for the Falcons, wearing number 16, scored 2 points in the first game against Ferris State, 1 assist in the second game against Ferris State last weekend. All 3 points he scored in his first season with the Falcons have been against the Bulldogs. Puck back up to center ice, played down the left wing by Jeremy Minville. Minville around to Sloan in the right wing corner. He takes a bump into the boards by Tyson Galloway. Galloway, a defenseman for Lake Superior State. Pretty large one as well, 6'4", 205. That's a big boy that plays pretty tightly in with Luke Antonacci. That is 5'9".
Man, the Lakers just surrounded Jeremy Mindale there fighting for the puck. He could not get off the ice.
Puck worked free down in the left wing corner. Played out, Foe back to Higgins. Higgins looking for his first, and it's blocked. He's got 6 points, all of them assists. Has Ty Higgins 6 points in only 4 games played this season. And another icing is going to be called against the Lakers. We should have started an icing counter against the blue and gold as they've struggled to hold on to the puck.
That would have kept us busy, Ben, for sure. Really close chance by the Falcons there. Jeremy Minville just kind of lost track of the puck in front of the net, and the Lakers were able to clear it out. But if icing it down the ice is all the Lakers are going to be able to do tonight, I don't think this is going to be a very close result by the time it's all said and done.
Pretty similar to what the Falcons had against the Bulldogs, who I could count on my hand the number of times they had offensive pressure in the second game against Ferris State, maybe the full game as well. So another icing against the Lakers. They were trying to get away with a change, but Jerskinis is going to have to step back on the ice. He isn't happy about it. In for the draw, Jaden Grant, Don Ryman, and Brody Waters to his right and left, and Stjernberg and Niedermeyer back at the blue line. And we're going to get the centerman kicked out.
A lot of energy here in the Slater early in this one. The pep band back in town, of course, too.
Face off one back, held inside the blue line by Stjernberg. Down to the left wing side, Ryman. Behind the goal line to wrap it around, looking for a pass, gets it out. Niedermeyer working in, his shot deflected down. Good block there by Hadley Hudak. Taken out, kept inside the blue line. Nice play there by the Falcons just to keep that pressure up and not allow the Lakers to get a change. In tight, poked away, Jaden Grant streaking toward the net. Same crew for the Falcons, same crew for the Lakers, who are skating tired. Ryman takes a big bump there by Hunter Ramos, that fourth line, getting their money's worth out on this shift. Down behind the goal line, Niedermeyer looks to get it to Grant, who has to chase the puck into the corner. Finally cleared outside the blue line. Batchelder's knocked down. Stjernberg takes it up with continued pressure. He works in. Good shot by himself. Appleby gloves and holds on. The Lakers get a change, and we get another ozone draw.
Stjernberg had 4 blue jerseys around him and still put a shot really well on target, if not for a good glove by Appleby. But, you know, one defenseman, albeit a good offensive defenseman, being able to advance the puck like that, I think you're going to see a lot more opportunities like that if that's the best the defense can do.
5 shots on goal for the Falcons, 1 for the Lakers, and a 1-0 lead for Bowling Green with that first-minute goal by Quinn Emerson. Puck pinned up right wing, worked free by Ben Duran. Evan Bushy along to Connor Milburn. Milburn, one of 2 Milburn brothers on this squad, Regan Milburn and Connor Milburn. Connor the only one in the lineup today. He is the better of the 2. Down the left wing comes Brandon Piku. He's bumped into the boards. A smaller player, but a very skillful player is Piku, wearing number 77. Very rare you see two number 77s on the ice as well, but you have Dom Ryman and you have Brandon Piku both wearing that odd number. On the right wing half wall, Ty Higgins comes in from the blue line, holds it down. Under 10 minutes to go in the first period. Tanner Scott up at the blue line to try and hold the puck in. He gets it back, and then it's pinned right back up. Still a stalemate in the right wing half wall. Brandon Wynot, Rick McKinley, the only two that are free. Wynot out to McKinley as the puck is again loose. McKinley gets checked. With the puck is Teleguin down behind the goal line. Lakers try to clear it out. Ulrich turned back around. Wynot, a heavy player. And Ulrich was a little bit concerned about a big check there from Wynot. Mangoni takes a big hit. He's pressed down into the ice. Lake State still trying to get their second shot on goal of the game. Good pass across. Ulrich, good centering feed to Ryan Beck, but it won't land cleanly enough to get a shot on goal. Back up to the blue line to Ryan Beck. Left side, he drags it. Good move, Ryan Beck. Shot is blocked, cleared away by Tanner Scott defensively. That was a good try by the Lakers. Puck back to the Falcons off of a block by Niedermeyer. Away to McKinley. And a clinical defensive play there by the Falcons to get the puck out.
And that's a possession you might like to have back if you're the Lakers there. A great setup with the cross pass and the centering pass, but unable to come away with anything.
And another icing against the Lakers. We'll get the face-off back in the offensive zone.
It's not too late to start your tally, Ben.
Yeah, 8:23 to go in the first period. I'm hoping our board operator, Nate Henners, is keeping track of that, although I doubt he is. 1-0, the Falcons lead halfway through the first period. Jake Sloan wins the faceoff. Brett Foe with a good shot, and it's blocked. Another shot in, dropped down in front of Appleby and never got there. But it was dangerous enough. Off the glass, out to center ice, played up by Korodiak. He stalls it on the left wing boards. Peeled away, good poke check. And back to John Harrington and back to the defenseman of the blue and gold. Lake State wearing their all blue jerseys today, or all blue uniforms, I should say, with gold and white piping. The Falcons wearing all white, brown shorts, white buckets, and orange and white gloves. On the right wing, Brett Foe couldn't stop it. Harrington takes it up through center. Hunter Ramos to the right wing. Adam Barone, he fires it in. Missed Cole Moore as he let it fly from goal line to goal line on the other side of the ice. 7:30 to go in the first period. Crampton, his pass errant to Brett Foe and out to center. Played in by Draskinis. He shoots it in, save made. Slap shot, save again by Cole Moore. Kicked into the corner. Another shot in toward Moore, and he'll shut this one down. That was the biggest flurry of shots he's seen today, but he stands tall and keeps it a 1-0 game for Bowling Green. This timeout brought to you by Juniper Brewing Company, located at 145 South Main Street in downtown Bowling Green, featuring coffee and craft beer and serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. See the latest menu at juniperbrew.com. 1-0, the Falcons lead here on your home for Falcon hockey.
BGSU women's basketball has started 3-2 in MAC play, and senior forward Kendall Moxie has been a breakout star as of late. On January 3rd against Central Michigan, Moxie posted a double-double stat line of 16 points and 15 rebounds in a close loss. She followed the performance with 15 points and 8 rebounds with a near double-double in the victory over Northern Illinois on January 10th. Overall, on the season, Moxie is shooting over 78% from the final and leading the Falcons in field goal percentage. The Maryland native is making a strong push to be a consistent part of the rotation. This has been 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics.
Falcon Hockey on the radio at 88.1 FM and streaming online at bgfalconmedia.com.
Back here in the Slater Family Ice Arena, 1-0. The Falcons with a D-zone faceoff after nice saves made by Cole Moore, but the first goal of the game scored by Quinn Emerson, his 7th of the season, assisted on Hodson's 11th assist of the season and Ben Duran's 15th. Myself, Ben Korak, along with Holden Ruck from the Falcon Media Sports Network, and we've seen a pretty dominating game so far, even though we have a dropped puck in the defensive zone now.
Yeah, there's a lot of hockey left to play, Ben, in this one. But if you're Bowling Green, you've got to be nothing short of elated with how this one has started. I mean, they've just looked like the better team out on the ice so far in this first period. And the 1-0 margin after 51 seconds certainly is a testament to that.
About 3 shots on goal in the last 20 seconds of play brings the shot on goal total to 5-4, although it was 5-1 about a minute ago of gameplay. So the Falcons have still dominated, still kept it in the O-zone. Have had 1 power play opportunity that they didn't score on. And again, scored that goal within the first minute. Down behind the goal line, cleared away. Grant shot into the chest of Appleby. Higgins sweeps it into the corner, playable for Piku. Outlet pass, Lewandowski was streaking, and it's intercepted by Higgins, who was perfectly placed. Now breakaway, Lewandowski trying it again. Down the right wing, he gives it up to Piku, who moves around Lewandowski, who is setting a pick for his own player, it looked like. 6:30 to go in the first period. Up through center, Ryman into the corner. The Falcons to go chase. Ryman off and Hodson on. Mangoni plays the puck, held inside the blue line. BG with it, down to the goal line. Back pass on the backhand, a nice one, but it doesn't land to any Falcon on the back door. Here's Duran, shot off the half wall, way wide. Teleguin out to center ice, in the air. Sternberg gloves, drops, gives it up to Duran. Hodson down the left wing, the transfer from RPI. His top 3 in goals, points, assists, and one of the top in rating as well, playing on the left wing. Now down the right wing comes Teleguin, up to center ice. Ulrich gets stood up. He loses the puck, and Norris retreats and gathers. Hodson fires it in. Why not down the right wing? He's got Levis with him. Levis puts a check on, turns the puck over up to center ice. 5:30 to go in the first period. Crampton tips it ahead to Why Not. He looks in. Save made. Appleby. He dives to the left to save the second chance. An odd bounce there for Rourke Appleby, who has not been able to wrangle in his saves too well early in this game. Behind the goal line, Barone, a dangerous pass in front of his own net. It was complete to Harrington. The Falcons will grab the puck before it ices. Crampton up, gains the entry, down the right wing, moves the defenseman, Braden Crampton. He's bumped behind the goal line, puck still with him. Cleared away, 3 Lakers back. And it's taken by Mike Brown, the alternate captain. 2 defensemen alternate captains, Evan Bushy and Mike Brown, on the 2 forward captains, and Connor Milburn and Sasha Teleguin. Back up the center ice, puck played by McKinley to Korodiak. Korodiak fires it in. The whistle blows. It's going to be an icing against the Falcons. Korodiak on the Falcons side of the center line. 4:30 to go in the first period. 1-0 the Falcons lead and a D-zone drop.
And kind of an interesting whistle game tonight. A lot of icings, primarily from Lake State, but in both directions, but only the 1 penalty on Lake State. Combined, these 2 teams average over 9 penalties a game, so not very many so far. This first period almost over, a little behind pace for both teams.
Korodiak around his own net, Lewandowski on the forecheck. He's played some very nice shifts today, has Lewandowski. Wearing number 17 as a goal and a point in his last 6 games played. This follows 3-game point streak. 1 game at Minnesota State and 2 games against Ferris State. He's only got 1 in his last 6. Here's a whistle and a face-off coming in the O-zone for the Falcons. They'll get the guys that they want back out on the ice.
And it really feels like the Lakers just cannot get themselves out of their own defensive zone. Every time they're even able to clear it, it's usually pretty quickly corralled. Besides that 3-shot flurry that we saw before the media timeout, really not much doing on the offensive end for them.
Bellinger up to center ice, but into the Bowling Green penalty box. He tried to lift it and clear it. The defenseman, Sam Bellinger. 1 point in his last 8 games played, 9 shots on goal, 5 penalties for 10 minutes in his last 8 games played. To only 1 point, not the ratio you like to see out of a defenseman. Brandon Piku up to center ice, puck back in. Bushy will gather along to Bellinger. and an icing again against the Lakers.
And the script of this game right now is not favoring the Lakers, who are going against the Falcons, the best face-off winning percentage in the CCHA, .541% of the time. Bowling Green and Michigan Tech, the only teams winning face-offs half of the time or more.
9 face-off wins for the Falcons, 7 for the Lakers. But like it normally is for shots on goal, the Falcons get better as the game goes on. Under 4 minutes to go. We get another draw on the track meet that this game has become. Here's Crampton, shot in. Oh, deflected down. Duran at the slot. Got a nice tip, and Appleby shut it off confidently.
It looked like Duran's second chance there was going to maybe place it right in the corner of the net, but Appleby, great job stopping it there. Tapping it outside.
Yeah, up at the blue line, touched by Emerson, who was trying to come outside the blue line to get back on sides. It's an offsides and the puck out to center.
And if you're the Lakers right now, you'll take what you can get, it feels like.
This is pretty much an offensive zone faceoff, considering you've had the vast majority of them. And where the Falcon win sets them up for a glorious offensive chance. The freshman line back out. Connor Levis, Brandon Wynot, and Tanner Scott. Again, Tanner Scott doesn't see much playing time, but with the absence of Noah Morneau, Levis has to play center instead of his normal right wing. Jake Sloan moves up, another freshman center, and you have another spot open. Max Martin skated in warm-ups as the second extra skater with Korodiak, but he was scratched before the game start. And Korodiak in the lineup as per usual.
And speaking to freshmen and newcomers to this team as well, Ben, you've got guys Dominic Ryman, Jeremy Minville, Jake Sloan, 3 that you didn't even mention just now, that are also getting significant playing time. So many new contributors on this year's Falcon team.
Down behind the goal line, Brandon Wynot battling for the puck along with Tanner Scott. New defensive pairing out there as well, Ty Higgins and Breck McKinley. They have to skate outside their own blue lines. Lakers threatening to clear, and they didn't do so, but they get the puck back. Draskinis gets banged into the boards. Shot to Appleby. He gloves and has to hold on, as in a little bit tight for comfort was Dom Ryman. We're going to get an O-zone draw. Under 3 to go in the first. I wonder how much in the second period they're going to try and kick the puck back into play and turn some into offense. And the majority of these face-offs have been in a favorable zone for the Falcons.
Yeah, if you're the Lakers, I think you have to try to get offense any way you can. But right now, I think your focus is probably just to get out of this period without giving up another one.
Why not? Low angle shot back up to the blue line off of the block. Nice chance there by Dom Ryman. He scored his first career goal in NCAA against Lake Superior State. The first goal in CCHA play for the Falcons was Dom Ryman's. He got a backdoor chance. Grant couldn't hold it in, neither could Ryman. It's down to the other end of the ice. Played there by Hudak. He takes a bump, and it's played out to Grant and Waters. Grant through center to Waters on the right wing. His shot deflected by Appleby, up in the air, gloved and dropped by Mike Brown off of the glass and up to center ice. Good move there, and now a breakaway. Connor Milburn working in. Good move. Save made. Colmore with the right leg. A beautiful one by the junior goaltender.
We've been talking up how well Cole Moore has played in the new year. Another impressive save there.
Now Lake State comes back in, another breakaway. Piku, his shot save made. Cole Moore, a long rebound up to Jake Sloan. He takes it down the left wing. Minville on tired legs trying to get up and get some offense to get the rest of the guys a change. Brett Foe with the puck back in the O-zone. Tipped up in the air. Foe with the puck. Good pass, but in the air to Norris, who's taken into the boards. Evan Bushy with the puck. Lake State with back-to-back breakaways, back-to-back stops by Moore. And here comes another one. Hunter Ramos, he tries to give it up. Good defense by Niedermeyer. Got the body in the way. To the right wing blue line. Draskinis, his shot blocked by 2 Falcons. Behind the goal line, that was Sloan and Norris that stopped the puck from carrying to the other side of the ice. Sloan to Niedermeyer back in their own defensive zone. A minute to go in the first period. Into the corner, Tyler Hodson behind the goal line, plays it. taken away by the Lakers. Almost an O-zone turnover there. Good stick work by Ben Duran. Offsides is the call against Hodson and Crampton, who took the puck up. 47 seconds to go in the first period. Some pleasantries in the corner.
A little bit of chippiness and some understandable frustration, you'd have to think, from the Lakers. Again, I think you really just got to try to get out of this one without giving up another goal. But the way the Bowling Green defense is allowing the puck to transition back to offense and giving them more shots, it's going to be a tough ask, even just in this period, let alone the other two.
Faceoff's going to be up at center ice. Only 47 seconds to make something happen, but certainly a faceoff you'd like to win if you're Bowling Green. Back into their own end. Played there by Bellinger with Draskinis. Back to Bellinger, who plays it up high in the air. Like Holden said, Lakers happy to come out of this first period with a 1-0 deficit. Up at center ice, considering how well the Falcons have played. Here's Dom Ryman. He fires it in behind the goal line. Played away by Antonacci in the corner. Takes the check. Puck held inside the blue line. Harrington with the puck down the right wing, off the glass, up to the Falcon end. 5 seconds to go in the first period. Lake State with the puck at neutral ice, and we're going to skate into the Rick Crow first intermission report with a 1-0 Falcon lead. Quinn Emerson, his 7th goal of the season within the first minute of the first period, and then we went 19 minutes without a goal. The Falcons lead 1-0 as we head into our intermission report. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
BGSU Gymnastics hits the road for the first time this season to take on the Ball State Cardinals in Muncie, Indiana, on Sunday, January 18th in Maxham. Falcon Media Sports Network's Noah Seeley will have the recap of the meet on bgfalconmedia.com.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
On February 21st, 2025, BGSU men's basketball upset Toledo at Savage Arena for the first time since 2021, defeating the Rockets 69-68. Falcon Media Sports Network's Tyler Kavlitz had the call of the game-winning moment on Falcon Radio.
Johnson inbounds to Campbell. They do not foul. Bowling Green marches into Savage Arena, exacts revenge on the Toledo Rockets, and gets a much-needed conference victory over their arch rivals, defeating Toledo 69-68. What an improbable win for the Bowling Green Falcons.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
BG Women's Basketball returns home to the Stroh Center to host the Miami Redhawks on Saturday, January 17th in a MAC showdown. Falcon Media Sports Network's Lucas Kleinmeyer and Trey Kennedy will call the action for the 1 p.m. tip-off on WBGU 88.1 FM as the Falcons look to extend their winning streak to 3 games and improve their 3-win and 2-loss Mid-American Conference record. Listen in by streaming the game on bgfalconmedia.com. Falcon Media Sports Network writes and publishes over 1,000 stories per year, including game previews, recaps, sidebars, opinion pieces, feature stories, and more. Head over to bgfalconmedia.com to view all of our content for every sport throughout the year.
How is your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then, someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
This week's Falcon Media Sports Network Athlete of the Week is BGSU Hockey's freshman defenseman Ty Higgins. Ty Higgins scored 4 assists during Bowling Green series sweep over Ferris State at FSU's A.V. Glavin Ice Arena. Higgins was named the CCHA Rookie of the Week for his weekend performance, which included a 3-assist night during BG's 5-1 victory on Saturday night. Since making his debut with the Falcons halfway through the season after being ineligible the first half of the season, Higgins has scored 6 assists through his first 4 career collegiate games against Ohio State and Ferris State. This has been Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week.
Falcon Women's Track and Field returns to action for the first time in 2026 and heads north to Mount Pleasant to battle against Central Michigan in the Jack Skoog Open on Friday, January 16th. Make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com for the recap of the meet by Falcon Media Sports Network's Dawson Pelter.
This is a Falcon Media Sports Network studio update.
Nate Henners here at the WBGU 88.1 FM studio at the Killeen Center. Here after our first intermission, or in our first intermission right now. Bowling Green up on Lake Superior State 1-0. Taking a look at what else is going on around the CCHA. Got Minnesota State up on Michigan Tech 1-0. Also at the end of their first period. Coming up tonight at 7:07 Central Time, 8:07 our time. 2 more games going on in the CCHA. Got Ferris State taking on Augustana, and Bemidji State taking on St. Thomas. Again, those games coming up at 8:07 our time, 7:07 Central Time. And that's a look at what's going on around the CCHA this evening. Right now, let's hand things on back out to the Slater Family Ice Arena with Ben and Holden for more coverage.
Back here in the Slater Family Ice Arena, the Rick Crow First Intermission Report, longtime BGSU hockey fan, sponsor of the Falcon Media Sports Network, and listener of Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM. Only 1 goal in that first period, and that goal was in the first minute of play. Quinn Emerson with good passing from Tyler Hodson and Ben Duran. That line combining for the only goal of today's game, and the Falcons dominated the rest of that first period, although they were not able to break that goal line again.
No, a very quiet game, really, after that first goal, save for a single penalty where the Lakers were able to get the penalty kill. Not a lot happening in either direction, but it feels like the Lakers have been kind of fighting for their life just to get out of the defensive zone tonight.
And you're seeing that definitely in the sheer volume of icings that have been had. There's not a stat that keeps track of how many icings there is and how many stoppages we've had, but we've had quite a lot, and it seems like the puck's just going down and back, down and back, down and back. The Falcons only breaking it up with face-off wins that they're able to get in the offensive zone. And maybe for the Lakers, you try and clear that puck a little bit more, maybe get some pressure outside of your own zone, and you're not backed up against the wall every time.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like even if they could get like one skater loose down the ice, turn a couple of those icings into, okay, now the Falcons have to try to back him into the corner, get the puck back on the wall. Even something like that feels like it gives them a better chance than just icing it and hoping for luck on the faceoff, because odds are it's going to go in favor of the Falcons. That's been the story for them this season. Again, I spoke to that .54 faceoff winning percentage, and Lake State winning less than half. I mean, those things add up pretty quickly.
The biggest offense they've been able to put together around the 8.5-minute mark. They're able to put together 3 shots on goal and 1 O-zone possession right before we had our media timeout. That was a big one, but they did also have two very high-quality breakaways, one in pretty much a one-on-one and one in a two-on-one with also goaltender Cole Moore, and he stood tall on both of them. He stifled the one on alone with the goaltender pretty handily on a very nice save, and then the other one he was able to do so as well.
And Ben, I think that's why the Falcons are going to be such a tough team to beat, let alone try to sweep down the stretch of conference play here. When you get behind, you catch a defenseman looking, and you've got a one-on-one opportunity with the goaltender. But that goaltender's Cole Moore playing as hot as he is, odds are you're not going to come away with an easy point there at all.
Cole Moore with only a couple of saves as we head into the second period. Rourke Appleby on the other side, 1 goal allowed and 9 saves. He has been tested more than the 9 saves says, as the Falcons doing what they normally like to do, and that is get in tight with goaltenders and work on the blue paint, especially Jaden Grant, Brody Waters, Jake Sloan, a bunch of players getting in areas where the Falcons generally like to be. Holden, we're heading into the second period in just a little bit, but what do you like to see from this Falcon team going into the second period and trying to put some more goals up on the board and get an even bigger lead?
To be honest, I don't think the Falcons have to do much different at all. The only thing I will say is I think they need to be a little bit more disciplined on the defensive end. And I know that seems a little bit backward, but the only times they've had scares in front of the net are when a single defensive skater gets caught slipping a little bit, or the puck is just at the right angle where a Lake State player could chase it down the ice and have an opportunity. Offensively, Bowling Green has been great. They've got 22 shots, 10 shots on goal, compared to Lake State only 7 shots, 6 of those on goal, and 3 of those, again, as we mentioned, in a really big burst. So for Bowling Green, I think you keep doing what you're doing. They haven't been penalized yet. They're massively outshooting Lake State. I think they've got everything going right now to win this one handily. Just need to clean up a little bit more defense, and they're going to be in great shape.
Lake State, the owners of the deficit in shots on goal, but also have only taken 4 offensive zone faceoffs, and all of them won by the Falcons. They've taken 18 defensive zone face-offs as well. That'll show you right there where the puck has been more often. It's been in the Bowling Green offensive zone. The Falcons lead 1-0 going into the second period. Quinn Emerson on the board first for the Falcons. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
On August 28th, 2025, BGSU football running back Cameron Petaway returned at kickoff 97 yards for a touchdown on the first play of the season against Lafayette. The second straight year, the Falcons found pay dirt on the first play of the campaign. Falcon Media Sports Network Sean Connolly had the call of the moment on Falcon Radio.
Dumont kicks it away, and we are underway in the 2025 football season, and it will be returned. Looks like he's got an opening, and will we see it again? There he goes. He's at the 50. There he goes for the second straight year. He will be gone. 2 years in a row, Cameron Petaway. Touchdown Falcons. Unbelievable.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
BG Women's Basketball returns home to the Stroh Center to host the Miami Redhawks on Saturday, January 17th in a MAC showdown. Falcon Media Sports Network's Lucas Kleinmeyer and Trey Kennedy will call the action for the 1 p.m. tip-off on WBGU 88.1 FM as the Falcons look to extend their winning streak to 3 games and improve their 3-win and 2-loss Mid-American Conference record. Listen in by streaming the game on bgfalconmedia.com.
Falcon Media Sports Network and BG Falcon Media takes pictures from nearly all BGSU and Bowling Green related events throughout the year. Head over to bgfalconmedia.com to check out thousands of photos and all the content.
Kids ask their parents a lot of questions.
Why can't people fly?
Gravity.
Is the moon really made of cheese?
Yep, cream cheese.
When can I move into a big kid's car seat?
For some questions, parents may not have the answer, but that's okay, They can't know everything, but knowing the right seat for their age and size will help protect them in a car crash. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Where do babies come from?
Good luck, Dad. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
On September 13, 2025, BGSU football tight end Jacob Harris hauled in his first career touchdown reception in the Falcons' 23-13 homecoming victory over Liberty at Dwight L. Perry Stadium. Falcon Media Sports Network's Tyler Kavlitz had the call of the play on Falcon Radio.
Markel Porter in the backfield. Pine's going to keep it, going to launch to the right side. That is caught in a touchdown by Jacob Harris. What a catch by the sophomore tight end in the end zone to put Bowling Green up 9-0 over Liberty.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM in Bowling Green, Ohio.
BGSU Gymnastics hits the road for the first time this season to take on the Ball State Cardinals in Muncie, Indiana, on Sunday, January 18th in Maction. Falcon Media Sports Network's Noah Seeley will have the recap of the meet on bgfalconmedia.com.
Check out more Falcon athletic coverage on X at BG_FMSN.
A one-goal lead for the Falcons in the second CCHA series of the 2026 calendar year. Ben Korak along with Holden Ruck from the Falcon Media Sports Network. You just heard the Rick Crow first intermission report, longtime BGSU hockey fan, listener of WBGU 88.1 FM, and sponsor of our Bowling Green hockey. Travel, not traveling this weekend, Lake Superior State in town, and a 1-0 lead for the Falcons here in Game 1. Game 2 coming at 7:07 tomorrow night, and then the Falcons on the road at Bemidji State next week. We'll have broadcasts of both of those games here on your home for Falcon hockey. Holding a first period that felt like it was dominated by the Falcons, and you could argue was, but only a one-goal lead, and now some work to be done for Bowling Green.
Definitely, you don't let your foot off the gas at all here if you're Bowling Green. I think your expectation for this weekend and all 4 games in total against Lake Superior State is to control and really kind of dominate them in all of these appearances. I think everybody in the Bowling Green locker room, I think they believe, and rightfully so, that they're the better team. If you look statistically at the comparison between the two teams, there's really not a meaningful parameter that Lake Superior State is better than, except the goaltending save percentage, which is arguably skewed when you look at how good Cole Moore has been recently and some of his earlier performances maybe being a bit of the factor in that difference. All that to say, I think Bowling Green knows they have some work to do. This game should probably be more than a 1-goal margin, and I really think that's what we're going to see in the second period here.
The Falcons have an 18-11 goal differential in the first, a 28-16 goal differential in the third, but only a 20-26 goal differential. So they're being outscored in the second period, and they're looking to remedy that today and even that goal differential back out as the puck in neutral ice. The Falcons really with some intensity trying to get it back into the offensive zone. Lake State out to center ice. Ulrich takes a soft check from Grant, gets it down to Cole Moore, who stops the puck behind his net. Cole Moore had to make only 6 saves in the first period and has not allowed a goal yet. Fired in by Teleguin, off the half wall, off the back of the cage. Caleb Mangoni back up to the blue line. Barone plays it up into the left wing corner. Mangoni gets bumped into the boards. He's been a very impressive freshman, wearing number 7. His only scoreless series of the season was against Bowling Green. 9 shots on goal, 1 block during that series, but he did not get a point. That's been the only series this season you could say that of Caleb Mangoni, the freshman. Puck pinned up in the corner. That's by Tyler Hodson. Quinn Emerson and Ben Duran battling for the puck. Duran gets it away. Looks at Hodson, still in the corner. It's taken away by Ryan Beck, now picked off, down the slot, dropped down, in tight. Duran makes a good move. Hodson with the puck, Appleby out of the crease. Centers it, back up top, shot in, blocked. Down at the slot again, Emerson. Down behind the half wall. The Falcons and the Lakers will reset as Duran spun out of play and away from the puck. Barone away. Ryan back up to the other end of the ice as Lake State clears it. This will not be an icing, it'll be into Cole Moore. This is maybe where they should aim on their clearing attempts, as they've had too many icings already in this game. Foe behind the goal line for Duran. He plays it on the left side of your radio dial in the offensive zone. Druskinis forces it away, and Evan Bushy clears it down to the blue line on the other side. Played out, Niedermeyer, his shot blocked. Slot shot there by Brett Foe, and Jeremy Minville in tight as well on the screen. And it's cleared back away. Piku, the puck intended for him, picked off by Niedermeyer down the right wing. Through center ice, Brett Foe down the left wing now. He's taken behind the goal line. Foe looking for a pass. He got it in tight. Minville working in front of Appleby. Back up to center. Harrington gets the puck, tries to get the entry, and Stjernberg steps out of the blue line, pokes it back out.
And a lot of the same in this one, Ben.
Niedermeyer stops it dead. Harrington with the shot over the head of Cole Moore. Bellinger, his pass to the slot won't land Harrington, the Falcon defenseman. With a couple of gaps there in the first period, only 2 of them that allowed breakaways, but have been solid as a rock all game. And pretty solid here in the calendar year of 2026. Touched at the blue line, carried up the left wing. The puck is played in tight with Cole Moore as he steps out of the crease to play it away. Tanner Scott along with Breck McKinley in the right wing corner. Lake State in the O-zone now. 4.5 minutes expired. The wraparound attempt. Ty Higgins a big check there. Puck away to the Falcons. They take it up, trying to put together some offense. Brandon Wynot with the flip behind to Galloway, who takes a check from Levis. And there Ryman gets his stick on it. It's back down to Cole Moore and played behind the net by Braden Crampton. Crampton takes it up. He is goalless for quite a while after a very solid start to the season. Had a goal and a game-winning goal in the second game against Lake Superior State, but he has not scored since that game winner against Lake State. Quite a bit of games played since then. Every game. He has not missed one yet. Now down the right wing. Wrist shot. Save made. Appleby doesn't know where the puck is, and it dropped down in between his kickers. That one from the right side, Brody Waters. Maybe some luck, maybe some skill, but the puck stays out. 15:50 to go in the second, and a 1-0 Bowling Green lead.
A bit of a scare there, but definitely one you're happy to come away with. Appleby coming out of the goal to his left, and a lot of open net behind him, but Falcons unable to thread the needle there.
Face-off in the offensive zone. The first period, 18 face-offs in the offensive zone out of 22 total face-offs taken in that first period. That was all in the zone of the Falcons. Off of icings by the Lakers and just off of sheer pressure that Bowling Green brought. Mike Brown gets the puck away. It's tipped ahead and outside the blue line. BG forces it back in, trying for a turnover, but Druskinis takes it out. Up to the Falcons, who recover with 2 defensemen back and no forecheck. Up to the right wing side. Duran, good pass. Hodson, pass across the slot. Won't land to Emerson. Shot in there, save made out to the corner. Emerson takes a dive in the corner. Druskinis to his D partner, Mike Brown. Duran takes his man into the boards, takes a little bit of the referee too. Duran back out to the blue line. Mangoni lifts it out and away. Caleb Mangoni, that freshman, making a run for freshman of the year. 17 points on 9 goals and 8 assists. 17 points in 22 games played. One of the best freshmen in the CCHA. As this puck out of play, and we'll get a dropped puck in the neutral zone.
Lakers really struggling there to get anything behind the Falcons, and the 1 or 2 times they have, we've seen the puck go out there or get cleared back up very promptly.
Big talking point of head coach Dennis Williams in his press conference this week was strengthening the defensive side of his defensemen. They've had great offensive success. Breck McKinley, one of the point leaders in the CCHA. Ty Higgins with a great ratio of points to games played. Gustav Stjernberg, Dalton Norris, all bringing a good amount of offense. Braden Crampton as well, but the sturdiness of their defense has only recently become the level of last season, which was by far their strength. Bushy, the defenseman in the corner, Ryan Beck. He's been all over the place, but not too much happening for him. Good pass, Connor Milburn to Piku over the head of Cole Moore. A great chance. Bushy fires it in. Connor Milburn again fires wide left of the goal this time. Lake State putting some shots on Cole Moore, although a couple didn't land. McKinley behind the goal line. Connor Milburn, a big forward, is the senior, 6'5", 212. A large body playing out there. His brother Regan Milburn did not inherit that height from their parents. 5'11" is Regan, 6'5" is Connor Milburn. And Connor definitely the better scorer out of the two.
And a tough break for Lake State coming out of that empty-handed. Best offensive chance they've probably had today, but nothing to show for it.
Tanner Scott in the O-zone behind the goal line. Tyson Galloway, the extra skating defenseman. Puck away, knocked down in the corner by Wynot. He surely battles, an absolute warrior out there. He turns the puck back over. Blue line, sauce pass to Norris. His shot up high. Scott battling in front. It's kicked outside the blue line by two Lakers. Braden Crampton still slapping at the puck. Back to Dalton Norris, and again, no chance for the Lakers to break something out. Scott has to stay on sides, touches the puck in lieu of a breakaway for Lake State. We're going to get a face-off toward the Falcon side, but still in neutral ice. 13 minutes to go in the second period.
The way this one's looked, Ben, it's hard to feel like neutral ice for the Lakers. Not what you want in the offensive position there for the Falcons, but certainly not an unacceptable result, getting a chance to face off and keep pressuring.
5 shots on goal for the Falcons this period, only 1 for the Lakers. Although it has been a bit more even and certainly less icings, which was the bane of the Laker first period. Quick in shot, Waters on a rebound chance. Kicked away. Appleby standing tall again, a big chance. Grant up, high slot. Stjernberg fed in, Appleby spinning away. Got it on his left kicker and spun from the Falcon pressure. That was Ryman and Waters. And we're getting real in tight there.
Closing in, like you said, Ryman and Waters there. Appleby had to just put his body down on the puck. That's about all he could do there to keep the Falcons from coming away with another goal.
His defenseman not helping him much, and it's a very solid defensive core. Evan Bushy, Adam Barone, Mike Brown, Johnny Druskinis. Very nice defensemen. Luke Antonacci and Sam Bellinger, 2 of the better offensive defensemen on the team, and not helping Appleby too much today. Ty Higgins down behind the goal line. 6 assists in 4 games played. We'll keep harping on that as he's one of the most influential freshmen on the team, and he didn't play the first half of the season. A big loss for the Falcons. Not due to injury, but due to extenuating circumstances that we do not even know of yet and don't know if we ever will. Harrington pass to Ryan Beck, won't land. Into the corner, chases the puck. Down to the goal line, clicked away. Higgins with his stick in the lane, and now up to center again. Hodson along with McKinley and Duran. McKinley gives it up. Emerson to Hodson, picked off. A nice pass attempt, but it's picked off by Mike Brown. Now Mangoni the other way, down the left wing. Mangoni, his shot into the chest of Cole Moore with a man encroaching. A nice save by the junior. He's only made a couple, but the ones he has made are very nice ones at that.
Yeah, he's made them when they matter. A couple of, really truly solid on-target shots from the Lakers. Not to discount, the Falcons have been out-shooting them significantly, but Cole Moore, no slouch shots facing him, but unfazed and standing strong, shutting out the Lakers right now.
Last series, we saw both Cole Moore and Jacob Steinman. Steinman 1 goal out, 18 saves in the second game win. That was a 5-1 victory. Shot goes wide right of Cole Moore. Onto the half wall and out to center. Spins off of the leg of Jaden Grant. He skates after the puck now. Connor Milburn was offside, so he has to take it back out. Druskinis slaps it in for the uncontrolled entry, and Crampton will pick it off because of that in the right wing corner. Back to Sasha Teleguin. Teleguin, a native of Massachusetts, but has Russian connections. His father was a member of the hockey team. Played for the national team as well, Sasha Teleguin's father. Draskinis, the shot in, blocked by the Falcons into the corner. Skated out by Dom Ryman. Jaden Grant with him, so the Falcons will eye a change as they get toward their bench. A long change now from their own end. The lead pass up. Falcons didn't touch it. It's going to be whistled off as an icing. They're going to get an ozone faceoff.
And another icing, something we saw a lot more of in the first period. But it's kind of the interesting thing about this defense so far in this game. We're only 53 seconds away from the halfway point of this game minutes-wise, and it does feel like Appleby hasn't had much help from his defenders. But on the other hand, this game could be a much wider margin than just 1-0.
He's seen 17 shots. He's saved 16 of them. That one goal allowed in the first minute, and since he's been fantastic. Stjernberg leaves it for Piku, who takes over. Down into the left wing corner. Piku with the puck, gives it away. Nice play out to Antonacci. His shot in. Save made by Cole Moore. Tried to go through the 5-hole. Wrapped over in front of Cole Moore again. Cleared away by the Falcon defenseman. Antonacci at the blue line again. There another shot in. Dropped down on the slot. Carried away by Stjernberg with possession now. Off the half wall. Turns it back over. Right off the bench comes Hudak. Hudak, good pass to the beaver tapping Hunter Ramos, who spun down to the ice, puck up to center. That was another good offensive drive, but a short-lived one. Lakers back in their own end with puck possession.
The Falcons defense took a minute there, but finally able to control the puck and clear it out, force the Lakers to reset rather than just giving them a ton of second and third chances on the goal.
Niedermeyer lifts it off the glass, still held inside the blue line. Hudak to give it up to Ryan Beck, and it's picked off. Stjernberg again out to center ice. It was touched, so the Lakers will have to get back as it was never going to be an icing. Brandon Wynot off the bench going on the forecheck. Intercepted in center. Connor Levis waits for his man to get back on sides. He's down the right wing now behind to Tanner Scott. South of the goal line, Tanner Scott. He works behind the goal line. Wynot to center it, and it's kicked into the corner. Wynot bumps Galloway and spins him farther away than Galloway would have ever got a hold of Wynot. Antonacci takes a bump from Wynot. And down into the Falcon end with possession have the Falcons. McKinley to Korodiak. That's a defensive pairing for a while. Puck into the Bowling Green bench. 8:57 to go in the second period. 1-0. The Falcons lead, and this timeout brought to you by Juniper Brewing Company, proud creator of the Ale Ziggy Zumba, a light ale made in collaboration with BG Athletics, a fan favorite here in the Madhouse on Mercer, but also available at 145 South Main Street in downtown Bowling Green. See the latest menu at juniperbrew.com. You're listening to Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Are you a fan of BG Falcon Media and the Falcon Media Sports Network? You can show your support for BGSU student media by donating at the bottom of the page of stories on bgfalconmedia.com.
Childhood cancer it's a long road. It's hard, but St. Jude has gotten us through it. St. Jude is hope that you have a chance at life. And it goes such a long way for every child diagnosed with cancer because everything that's learned is shared all over the world. It's awesome.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Whether the Falcons are at the Slater Family Ice Arena or out on the road, the Falcon Media Sports Network is covering them all season long.
Lake Superior State at a .500 record in their last 10 games played, including a sweep of Northern Michigan last week. That in Sault Ste. Marie at home. Had a 2-1 win both nights against the Wildcats. Ended up burying them. Actually played better against the Wildcats than the Falcons did when the Falcons hosted Northern Michigan. But then also had pretty solid series against St. Thomas where they split, Augustana where they split, and Ferris State where they split with an overtime loss. So they have played very well and better or maybe 2 where their talent is Lake State generally starts out hot and then cools off as the season goes along, breaking that pattern this year as they're continuing to heat up, and they're trying to do so again against the Falcons today. Adam Barone down the right wing with a 1-goal deficit. Wrist shot, score! The defenseman works in down the right wing, his 3rd goal of the season for the 14-point score, and it's tied up 1-1.
And getting hot there, great opportunity and great job scoring by Barone. Really important here to even it up and keep it a game. You know, if you're Bowling Green, you know, trying to finish out the second period, less than half of that period left, you know, looking at that lead feels pretty good, but now we've got an even game. And we talked in pregame, Ben, about how important this was for Bowling Green. Equally important, if not more so, for Lake State, who's, you know, not eliminated, but currently outside of that Mason Cup playoff picture right now. So big-time goal to equalize there.
No tilted ice anymore that the Falcons had for a while, although they have dominated gameplay so far. It's still just a tie game. A beautiful shot by Adam Barone that took that from about the center line all the way in. So interesting to see where they give assists, if any. Here's Tyler Hodson. He gets the puck taken away by Piku. And now Breck McKinley with the controlled entry. Down the right wing, wrist shot looking for one of his own, and it goes over the head of Appleby. McKinley to take it in again. Connor Milburn gets it away. Piku to try and beat Crampton to the puck, but he can't do so. It's an icing against the Lakers. And a long shift for this group. 8:02 to go in the second, a 1-1 tie.
And it does look, Ben, like they are going to give Barone credit for the goal unassisted. Big time play there to put them right back in this thing.
11:22 mark here in the second period. We mentioned how the Falcons are outscored this season in the second period, the only period that they are outscored. As here's a shot that's blocked by from the Falcons. Crampton to pass it to Minville in the slot. Is chipped up in the air, carried away by the Falcons. Down back into their own end. BG will retreat and gather.
And it feels like a big momentum shift now for Bowling Green, a team that generally plays worse in the second, like you said, to keep things even here, as they've been hot in the third recently.
7:30 to go in the second period. Crampton peels the puck off the boards out to the right wing side. Tanner Scott, he takes it up. Ahead for Brett Foe. Foe at the goal line. Good pass across, but doesn't land to anybody. McKinley with another shot, and his stick hits the stick of Bellinger. And the shot won't lift in the air and will never make it to Rourke Appleby. Behind the goal line, Cole Moore plays it out to Hadley Hudak. Quick shot from the left side as Cole Moore gets back in the crease. Misses the rack. Cole Moore was there anyway. Through center ice, McKinley another entry as he takes the puck up. Scott trailing just a bit. He'll go for a change as Levis puts a hit on the carrier of the puck. Left wing comes the defenseman, Evan Bushy. Flipped in. And it's going to be another icing against the Lakers.
And the Slater are just a little bit quieter now, not lacking that energy by any means, but up till now it really felt, I think the vibe around the arena was that the Falcons were pretty squarely in control. Very much anybody's game here. Just 6:41 left in the second period.
Shots on goal battle only being won by 1 for the Falcons here in the second period, although it's being won by 5 across the game as a whole. We got 6.5 minutes to play in the middle frame before we head into our Marta Crow second intermission report, so stay tuned for that. A studio update by Nate Hinters and intermission from myself and Holden Ruck here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. Dom Ryman, the puck off of his stick as he was pressed into the boards. It's up to center ice, lifted in. Played by Waters. Waters with the puck down to the goal line. Jaden Grant. Back away. Ryman still battling. Lake State lifts it out. Clears it. The Falcon defenseman will get there first. It's Stjernberg. Passes it to himself off the half wall. Nice play. And a breakaway here for the Falcons. Ben Duran couldn't settle the puck down. Pulled it between his legs. And a clean defensive play there by Mike Brown, the alternate captain, to be able to stifle that chance. A great pass by Gustav Stjernberg to find Ben Duran. And unfortunate he couldn't settle the puck down. Lifted into the corner. Hodson, back pass. Emerson to the backside. Duran was there and couldn't clean it up. The puck dancing on its side instead of laying flat, which you would have rather had for the best chance at a net break. 5:20 to go in the second. 1-1 the score on the Adam Barone goal in this second period.
And it really feels like this Lakers defense has kind of come alive in the second period, Ben. Keeping the Falcons out much better than they had.
Have been able to gain more of those 50-50 pucks, especially against the boards, and they have certainly turned it over less. Niedermeyer to the right wing, slap shot. Sloan knocked in front, but over the head of Appleby and over the crossbar. Foe back out to his defenseman. Moved in. Higgins lost the puck. Poked out, and Higgins will have to chase. Conditioning was an issue for Higgins in the first series played against Ohio State, or so said head coach Dennis Williams. He's only got better at that so far as he takes this puck behind the goal line with speed. Higgins pinned up against the boards with Connor Levis. Puck free and away to Minville, who's decked by Mike Brown. Up to the blue line, Brett Foe lifts it over the head of Appleby in the goal. Teleguin, he takes a bump that takes him back a couple of steps, loses the puck, when Galloway picks it up for Lake State. Up at center ice, Tanner Scott to gather. He does so, the lead pass up, center ice, Brandon Wynot down the left wing. Wino working in, good shot against Appleby, it's corralled into his chest. 4 minutes to go in the second, 1-1 the score.
Some fresh legs from this freshman front line, looking to put on a little bit of pressure, maybe try to regain the lead, I should say, with just 3:58 left in the second period. But as he has, for the most part tonight, Appleby stands strong.
We're going to get a face-off to the right of Appleby, who is up to 18 saves now and a goal allowed. Cole Moore, 11 saves and 1 goal allowed. So the save percentage is going to look better for Appleby, although maybe the quality of the saves Cole Moore has made has been better. He was beat on a very nice shot by Barone. Flipped in right off the draw toward Appleby, and he kicks it into the right wing corner. Dom Ryman back behind the goal line to gather the bouncing puck. Quick shot into Appleby. He lost sight of it for a second. Back up to the blue line. Higgins holds it in. Back picked off by Lake State. They carry it out with their skates. Now down the left wing, Lewandowski turns it back over. Ryman with the puck. Back to McKinley. McKinley, another zone entry for the defenseman. Shot in, rebound chance. Lewandowski clears it into the corner with Grant encroaching. Grant behind the goal line again, plays it out to the slot. Hudak comes up with the puck with no white jerseys there. The Falcons will come back into their own zone to gather. Outlet pass up down the right wing. Emerson leaves it back. Hodson blows a tire. Turned back over to Lake State. That would have been a heck of a chance had Hodson been able to keep his edge. Hodson cherry picking now. Fired ahead and an icing against Stjernberg and the Falcons. Don't know where he was looking, but no Falcons in the vicinity. Under 3 to go in the second. Still 1-1 in a offensive zone faceoff for the Lakers.
And in the last minute of play, Ben, really both teams kind of the beneficiary of some self-inflicted wounds from the other team. The blown tire, as you mentioned, and then just a couple of errant passes not able to connect with the intended target.
Swept along from the right wing corner, the Falcons with the puck. The defensive unit of Stjernberg and Norris played together quite a lot last season, as the defensive pairing stayed pretty much the same from the start of CCHA play on, and Norris and Stjernberg were standard there. Of course, Norris the captain this year, and Stjernberg an alternate captain. Lead by example kind of guy, not too vocal. Down playable for Caleb Mangoni. Lead pass up, down the left wing comes Jake Sloan. Sloan to give it up, he got it away to Foe, batting at the puck, dancing on the slot. Mangoni clears it away high in the air. Crampton will touch it before the goal line, as that was probably not going to be given an icing call. To the left wing, McKinley. He dumps it up. The Falcons have to get a change. Sloan with a check on Antonacci, he's way bigger than the defenseman for Lake State, Antonacci. Jake Sloan, a pretty good 6'3", Antonacci 5'8". Ty Higgins in the corner, tries to shovel it ahead. McKinley takes his man into the boards. Higgins into the boards as well. in the Lake Superior State O-Zone with 1:30 to go in the second. Still a 1-goal game as we still battling for the 50-50 puck. Out to the blue line. Galloway can't hold it in. He has to retreat. The Falcons on a big forecheck. Ryman tumbles down to the ice, takes Galloway with him. Ryan Beck, a good pass away. Piku up, and it won't land to Wilson Dahlheimer. Back behind the goal line. Dahlheimer on the forecheck to Sternberg. He gets it out to the right wing. Ryman tips it ahead. Antonacci with the puck instead of the white jersey. The Falcons back again together. 1 minute to go in the second period. Sasha Teleguin, a big forecheck. He's pretty much out of the play now. The Falcons, a deep pass up to Quinn Emerson. He'll get the touch, so icing is waved off. Up to Teleguin again. Seems like the Lakers can only get a couple of guys up at a time. Connor Milburn down the left wing, goal line, in tight with Cole Moore. It bounces behind the goal line off the side of the net. Falcons with the puck. 30 seconds to go in the second period. 1-1 the score. The only goal in this frame. Adam Barones, he's on the ice now. Off the half wall, a pass to himself. McKinley has taken a lot of entries today. He's got the puck in the O-Zone quite a bit. John Harrington down the left side. Ty Higgins defends him. Harrington wraps it around. Good defense there by Ty Higgins. Takes the man into the corner and pokes the puck away while he's at it. Bushy, the shot in tight with Cole Moore. Back down to the half wall. The horn sounds. Time expires. The second period is over. The only goal goes to Lake State, and they tie it up 1-1. The Falcons will go into the final frame of action here in the Slater Family Ice Arena against Lake State with a tie game. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
On September 5th, 2025, BGSU men's soccer forward Trace Terry found the back of the net with a spectacular goal within the first 5 minutes of the match to defeat Michigan State 1-0, marking the second straight season the Falcons defeated the Spartans. Falcon Media Sports Network's Lucas Kleinmeyer had the call of the goal on the WBGU PBS YouTube channel live stream.
Suarez will look along for Terry. He's going to find Terry. He's going to take it on the bounce. A left-footed shot is in! Oh, what a strike from Trace Terry! 1-0 Bowling Green!
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
Looking for a BGSU Athletics talk radio show? Tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m., where a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss the hottest BG sports topics. Only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Falcon Women's Track and Field returns to action for the first time in 2026 and heads north to Mount Pleasant to battle against Central Michigan in the Jack Skoog Open on Friday, January 16th. Make sure to head over to bgfalconmedia.com for the recap of the meet by Falcon Media Sports Network's Dawson Pelter.
BGSU women's basketball has started 3-2 in MAC play, and senior forward Kendall Moxie has been a breakout star as of late. On January 3rd against Central Michigan, Moxie posted a double-double stat line of 16 points and 15 rebounds in a close loss. She followed the performance with 15 points and 8 rebounds with a near double-double in the victory over Northern Illinois on January 10th. Overall, on the season, Moxie is shooting over 78% from the final and leading the Falcons in field goal percentage. The Maryland native is making a strong push to be a consistent part of the rotation. This has been 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics.
Before I came to Alcoholics Anonymous, I thought all the people that I knew who didn't drink were self-righteous people, holier than thou. So it never occurred to me that Alcoholics Anonymous was filled with people who had drank like I did, and now were the same people that I used to drink with, the same people that I liked, only now they weren't drinking. They were people just like me who had been drinking for a long time and found out that it didn't work for them anymore.
Visit AA.org for more information and download the Meeting Guide app to find a meeting near you.
Ever heard of Falcon Media Sports Network's broadcast on Falcon Radio or WBGU 88.1 FM but don't know where to listen? Well, set down the radio, pick up your phone, and go to bgfalconmedia.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to stream Falcon Radio and WBGU 88.1 FM for all broadcasts.
Start your mornings right with The Morning Show on WBGU 88.1 FM, Northwest Ohio's community radio station. Join Clint Corp, a trusted voice in our community, weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. for the latest local news, BGSU happenings, and all the events that matter to you. WBGU 88.1 FM, Northwest Ohio's community radio station. Your morning, your community, your voice.
BG Women's Basketball returns home to the Stroh Center to host the Miami Redhawks on Saturday, January 17th in a MAC showdown. Falcon Media Sports Network's Lucas Kleinmeyer and Trey Kennedy will call the action for the 1 p.m. tip-off on WBGU 88.1 FM as the Falcons look to extend their winning streak to 3 games and improve their 3-win and 2-loss Mid-American Conference record. Listen in by streaming the game on bgfalconmedia.com.
Be part of the WBGU team. Volunteer with WBGU FM in a variety of roles, including on-air, promotions, social media, music selection, and much more. Positions are always available to students and the local community. For more information, visit the WBGU Facebook page. Volunteer with Northwest Ohio's community radio station, WBGU 88.1 FM. The return to radio freedom.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
This is a Falcon Media Sports Network studio update.
Nate Hinners here in the WBGU 88.1 FM studio at the Killeen Center with a look at what's going on around the CCHA. Of course, our matchup here, Bowling Green and Lake Superior State, tied up 1-1 at the end of the second period. Also at the end of the second period right now, we got Minnesota State and Michigan Tech also tied up 1-1. Games that started off about an hour ago, or about half hour ago now. We have Augustana leading Ferris State 1-0, and St. Thomas leading Bemidji State 1-0. Those games still in the first period. We'll keep you updated after the match. You're listening to Falcon hockey coverage here on WBGU 88.1 FM, and right now let's hand things on back out to the Slater Family Ice Arena with Ben and Holden. How's it going out there?
It's going pretty well, Nate. Thank you again for your intermission report from the Cooling Center studios. This report brought to you in memory of Marta Crow, a longtime BGSU hockey fan, and her husband Rick Crow has sponsored our travel this season and did last season as well. We're very thankful for him to be the reason that we are broadcasting every BG hockey game this season and have to this point. The Falcons in a 1-1 tie, the only goal in that second period to Adam Barone, a defenseman for Lake State. That was an unassisted goal, and he ties it up at 1-1. Holden for the Falcons, who have dominated pretty much all game, have certainly played better if you just watch what happens on the ice and don't look at the scoreboard. But the Falcons find themselves in a tie game, and now all the pressure is on this third period to not only win, but make sure you do it by a couple.
Yeah, and I think the important thing to think about here is the kind of team, the kind of identity that this Falcons team has had. You know, Coach Willie has spoken on, this is a team that doesn't always, have a lot of momentum in that second period. It's something they'd like to work through, but it is just the reality of this team in its current form. But on the other hand, in the third period, the team has been much stronger. Looking just at that Ohio State series, on the first night of it in Columbus, they scored 2 goals in the third period unanswered to tie things up, send it to overtime. They would lose in the shootout, but 2 goals from a shutout to that point. Big time comeback there. And then back here at the Slater in the second game against Ohio State, scoring 1 goal to tie and then 2 more to blow the thing wide open against the Buckeyes and get that long-awaited win for these fans here. I think the Falcons are going to be fine in this third period. They just need to stick to the identity that they've had in the third period, especially recently.
Even earlier this season against Lake State in Sault Ste. Marie, granted that was the first series of the CCHA season for the Falcons, but they scored 3 goals in the third period in the first night of action. 1 even strength, 1 in the power play, and 1 shorthanded by Connor Levis to ice the game away in a 4-1 win. And then in the second night, Braden Crampton, the only goal in the third period. That was a game winner he had in the first 18 minutes in to that third period. So they had success in the third period against Lake State. They just need to do so today against Rourke Appleby in net, who has been outstanding since the first minute of action. He's been shut out since then, 22 saves since he gave up that first goal allowed, and he's got 22 saves already. So since he was 1 goal and no saves, he's 22-0, and he's been very impressive on a couple of very nice Bowling Green chances.
Yeah, and that doesn't even discount some really solid goal play across the ice as well. Cole Moore, .923 save percentage right now, 12 saves against 1 goal. Lack of saves primarily due to the lower count of shots, because the degree of difficulty of some of Moore's saves has been very, very high. The percentage deficit between him and Appleby doesn't necessarily reflect him playing worse so much as just the way this game has gone.
The Falcons have certainly tested Appleby more, 23 shots on goal to Lake Superior State's 13, although that second period was a bit tighter. The Falcons with 8 shots on goal to Lake State's 7 at one point, and then toward the end, Bowling Green put together some more sustained offense, got it up to 13. But again, through 40 minutes of action here, Holden, it's, you're a track and field guy, you're a cross-country guy. It's turned into a race. We're going back and forth from goal line to goal line, not too much sustained pressure, and I think a main piece of that is not too many penalties. We haven't had a penalty since the first couple of minutes of the first period.
No, it's been a very clean game. I mentioned this in the first period, but the majority of the whistles we've heard have just been icing calls. Feels like an outlier amongst most hockey games I've watched. But to be honest, Ben, I agree with what you're saying about it kind of being a race. I like that analogy. And I think in this third period that it's the race to another goal. I think whichever one of these teams is able to break the tie first is going to be the one that puts it away. I think that might be all it takes.
A 1-1 tie through 40 minutes of play. Quinn Emerson opened the game in the first minute with his goal, assisted by Hodson and Duran. And Lake State responded in the second period. Midway through, Adam Barone, an unassisted goal as he took it from the center line and beat Cole Moore for the only time today. The 1-1 tie will take into the third period of action. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Dude, I love this song that Pepin's playing. It's had
On November 1st, 2024, BGSU men's soccer defeated nationally ranked Western Michigan for the first time in a decade. Falcon Media Sports Network's Lucas Kleinmeyer was on the call on the WBGU PBS YouTube channel.
History has been made here at Cocker Stadium for the first time in 37 regular season matches for the Western Michigan Broncos, and for the first time in a decade, the Bowling Green Falcons take down the Western Michigan Broncos by a final score of 3-0 here at Cocker Stadium. Wow!
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
Unlike other local sources, Falcon Media Sports Network and BG Falcon Media will never charge a paywall to view our content. However, if you are looking to support student media, you can donate at the bottom of our stories on bgfalconmedia.com.
BGSU Gymnastics hits the road for the first time this season to take on the Ball State Cardinals in Muncie, Indiana, on Sunday, January 18th in Maxham. Falcon Media Sports Network's Noah Seeley will have the recap of the meet on bgfalconmedia.com.
Beskid, BGSU Radio Faculty Advisor. You can catch all the Falcon Media Sports Network broadcasts on our two stations, WBGU 88.1 FM and Falcon Radio, which can both be found on bgfalconmedia.com. Ziggy.
Bowling Green Hockey wraps up their weekend series against Lake Superior State on Saturday, January 17th. Falcon Media Sports Network's Ben Korak and Nathan Burkett will have the call of the game on WBGU 88.1 FM with puck drop at 7:07 p.m. Nate Hinners, Gavin Gill, and Artie Abrego will have an in-studio pregame, halftime, and postgame show starting at 6:40 p.m.
You are tuned into live BGSU hockey coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM from the Falcon Media Sports Network.
Back here in the Slater Family Ice Arena, just intermission is expiring here at the Slater Family Ice Arena. The Mardi Gras second intermission report, and we're heading into the third period with a 1-1 tie. And the biggest things we've seen so far, Holden, we've seen very good goaltender work. We've seen back and forth from goal line to goal line. We've seen limited penalties, and nothing suggesting that that's going to change going into the third period. It's just who's going to be able to break that ice first.
No, I mean, as much as some of the offensive opportunities haven't seemed the cleanest, some missed passes here and there, I feel like this has really largely been a very disciplined game, and that's why I think, being able to force the mistake, find the opening, and get like one goal, I think is going to be enough to do it here. So it'll be really a question of which team comes into this final frame the hottest.
I will make the prediction, Holden, as a lot of these games do. It might come down to a penalty given here or there. Whether or not it's scored on or whether it is not scored on, you seem to always look back on these one-score games as, you capitalize on one more power play. And you can't really look at that today. You're 0 for 1. The Falcons are. Lake State has not even had a power play yet. And it's coming down to the wire, really, between Lake State, who's trying to climb their way back up into a more positive playoff spot than they are right now, third to last, and the Falcons, who are trying to make a run at the top.
Yeah, I mean, it really feels like a must-win situation for either. Falcons certainly not out of contention with a loss tonight or even an unfavorable result this weekend, but definitely points that you can't afford to give up if you want any chance at that home ice advantage like we talked about.
BG and Lake State back out on the ice. The face-off one back for the Falcons. They've won 24 face-offs to Lake Superior State's 14. I was about to do the math in my head, but I'm not going to try and do that.
Ben Korak, noted non-math guy, as he'll tell you.
Back down in the corner, Lake State works it free into their own slot, and they carry it out. Caleb Mangoni off the half wall, down the right wing side. Hudak lost his stick, lost the puck too. The Falcons out to center. Birdie Waters with the puck across his own logo. Now to Lake State, or to Jaden Grant, to Lake State's goaltender, Rourke Appleby, and he directs it away. Mangoni dumps it into the corner, goes for a change, and lets Ryan Beck chase. Beck has been everywhere today. 4 goals, 11 assists, 15 points this season for the 5'10" transfer from Colorado College. He's in his senior season, and his final one wanted to go somewhere where he really got a chance to shine, and he's been a real difference maker for the Lakers this season. Held inside the blue line by the Lakers and kicked back out down to the other end of the ice. That was an unfortunate pass that landed on the skate of John Harrington as he was striding. It was kicked back down toward Rourke Appleby. The Lake State goaltender on the right side of your radio dial. Cole Moore back on the left side of your radio dial. He's got 12 saves, 1 goal allowed. Down the left wing comes Brett Foe. He fires it in toward Appleby. It squeaks through. Brett Foe with the squeaker. Appleby allows the tilting goal toward the Falcons, and it's 2-1 Bowling Green.
Both goals for the Falcons today within a minute and a half of their respective periods starting. The one just now by Foe, just a minute 27 into the third period. Quinn Emerson's coming less than a minute into that first period. Huge goal for Bowling Green after being stifled for 39 minutes, over 39 minutes of ice time without a goal. And suddenly they have a 2-1 lead and all the pressure's on the Lakers.
5th goal of the season for Brett Foe, a very unassuming shot. He's had a couple of those this season that he's just been able to squeak through. And I think that's one Appleby's going to watch this week during film, and he's not going to be too happy with it. Foe takes a spill. He's going on the forecheck now, and it's clapped ahead by the Lakers. Lewandowski will be the first into the zone behind the goal line. Lakers a bit late to get there with him. Higgins gets the puck away. A puck battle won by McKinley. Back to Higgins, turned over to Lake State at the blue line. Lewandowski with the puck, holds it in the O zone. Brandon Piku in the left wing corner. He tries to feed it out to his defenseman at the blue line, but it's carried out by the Falcons. Up in neutral ice, dumped down. Falcons get a change. 18 minutes to go in the third period, 2-1. The Falcons lead now on that goal by Brett Foe. Believe that one's going to be unassisted as well. That was pretty close to the goal line, that shot from Brett Foe. Down to Stjernberg as he picks up the puck. Is going to be assisted by Braden Crampton, at least right now. As a pass that might have happened in neutral ice. Why not around? Stopped behind the goal. Levis plays it. Why not's pinned up by both defensemen, Tyson Galloway and Adam Barone. Pass through the slot is picked up. A lot of slot passes for the Falcons. Moved to the inside, Ramos, but left the puck behind. Dalton Norris makes Ramos miss. He gives it to the left wing, Niedermeyer to Ryman. Ryman not happy as the puck was right on his tape and he missed the pass. Here's Grant, he feeds it in toward Appleby. Now Niedermeyer does the same. Man in the corner there. Why not with the puck? He gets it toward the goal line, spins it back around. All right, that's Dom Ryman back up to the blue line. Jackson Niedermeyer, he works in. Puck is bumped away, down to the right wing. Brody Waters behind the goal line. Back up, held in by Crampton, and then it's kicked away by the Lakers. They'll have to go for a couple of man change as the Falcons swipe it back in.
And the Falcons' offense right now just very sticky, almost a defensive kind of offense in the way they're just keeping the puck in the O-zone and safe for right now, not letting the Lakers clear it out too much the last few minutes.
Cole Moore plays it in tight. Sasha Teleguin got real in tight there. Cole Moore plays it out to the blue line, and he steps right back in front of the goal before that shot in.
Sort of a weird bouncing approach there from the puck, but Cole Moore able to control it between the pads.
We got a face-off coming. Ben Duran with Tyler Hodson and Quinn Emerson. That's a veteran group out there. Ben Duran, a junior, Quinn Emerson, a senior in his final season. Tyler Hodson, also a junior. 3 of the better scores for the Falcons. 17 for Hodson, 16 for Ben Duran, and 23 points on the season coming into today's game for Quinn Emerson, and he's got a goal. All 3 of those players adding to their point totals on that Emerson goal in the first. Puck poke checked away. Tyler Hodson back down into the Lake State end, so the Falcons will get a change. Back behind the goal of Rourke Appleby. And it's held back there by Mike Brown. Brown, a transfer to Lake State from Merrimack 2 seasons ago. Redshirted that season at Merrimack and then decided to transfer after he redshirted. And he's been a very nice player for the Lakers. Down the left wing, picked off on the pass. Lewandowski loses the puck. Mangoni stops it. Lewandowski, a good move down to the goal line. He plays it through the slot, back up to the blue line. Evan Bushy, his shot blocked by Foe, who's tripped down to the ice. Braden Crampton with the puck. Brings it around, tipped by Minville. And it's going to be waved off, icing is. Brandon Piku was cherry picking, and the Falcon defenders got back in time. A race for the puck. Norris against Piku, down behind the goal line. Higgins overskated it. It's into the left wing side. Played out by Milburn to the blue line. Ramos gives it up. Right wing side. Shot in toward Cole Moore. He reaches out with the right pad and then corrals it with his glove. 14:40 to go in the third. 2-1 the Falcons lead.
A couple of times in a row their Falcons offense tried to move the puck towards the Lakers goal, and it just ended up behind, but with no icing called. And while that's not the result you're looking for, you can't hate it now being up and 5 minutes down already in this last period. Only 14:44 remaining to play. The Lakers are going to have to get something going because unlike in that second period, they haven't looked any more controlling on offense than the Falcons, and they're going to need to be to tie this one up again.
So in for the draw is Jaden Grant. He will go against fellow number 28, Hunter Ramos. Ramos can play center and does some for the Lakers. A couple of very nice wingers taking draws. Ryan Beck, another one that can play center, did so at Colorado College a little bit. The reason he played so much time with Colorado College. Puck poked back into the Bowling Green end. Tyson Galloway, extra skating defenseman, tries to clear it. Stjernberg keeps it in. Back into the right wing side. Lake State tries to clear it again. They have to lift it up to do so. Stjernberg is back first. The Goose has not been penalized too much this season compared to last season where he took quite a bit, but he had to play a bit more physical. The Falcons have brought more physicality this year, especially while adding a good bit of offense as well and losing a couple of starting senior defensemen, Eric Parker, Tommy Passanen, Ben Wozni, just to name a couple. Back up to the blue line, Teleguin down. He shot it in, low angle toward Colmore off the side of the cage. Big hit there by Mike Brown. The Falcon is down in the left wing corner. Quinn Emerson stumbles back to the bench. He took a big check as he got the puck away. Teleguin tips it ahead. Nope, he missed it. Higgins will get to the puck first, and it's an icing against the Lakers.
And, you know, speaking to that physicality, Ben, it's been an interesting one today because this is a team that, you know, as you said, there's more players. You're not relying on a guy like Gustav Stjernberg to provide all of your physicality on the ice. But even so, it's been a much less penalized game, and we've seen the Falcons not giving up a penalty. Nobody's serving time so far today.
I do feel like we're wearing closer to a jinx on it, but we'll see. Down behind the goal line, Barone, the goal scorer. That was assisted by John Harrington and Caleb Mangoni, both right wingers. Now down the left wing comes Jake Sloan. He works in toward Appleby. Puck behind the goal line. Fanned pass as he tried to get it back out to the blue line. That was Brett Foe. He'll chase the puck down. He leaves it for Norris to grab. Foe would have maintained some offensive pressure. Norris turns it over at his own blue line. It's a no-no spot for the captain defenseman. Minville with the puck on the left side, pokes it ahead for Jake Sloan. Sloan's played some very nice shifts the last couple of games, played great against Ferris State, although he only took one assist in the first game. Earned a lot more than he did by just 1 point going toward his total on the season. Korodiak sweeps the puck away, down behind the goal line. Defensive play by the sophomore who joined the Falcons in December of last year. So this is a full year played for Ivan Korodiak. Only a couple of points, but he brings so much defensively and physically to the floor, or to the ice. Connor Milburn down the left wing. He looks for a shot, passes across the slot. Hudak was taken into the crease, but tied up. Bellinger lifted it up into the netting from the blue line. 12 minutes to go in the third period. 2-1 the Falcons lead, and we're going to get face-off in the offensive zone.
And a couple chances there, really good ones for Lake State to try to equalize, but nothing doing. Ryan Beck for a minute there, the only Lake State skater, and a little bit ahead of the Falcons defense, but unable to come away with anything slow things down. And then again, Luke Antonacci just missing on a pass there. And we got the face off here now, at least in the O-zone for the Lakers, so it's not nothing, but still not what they want.
Connor Milburn, 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points this season for the senior forward in his final season with Lake State. His brother Regan in his second to last season with Lake State, assuming he stays after this 2025-26 season. Back into the offensive zone for the Falcons. Jaden Grant, Dom Ryman behind the goal line, battling for the puck, and they get it back out. Open ice, blue line. McKinley the shot in on a slap shot, and it's kicked up into the glass. Falcons still with the puck, high slot. Dom Ryman with the shot, tipped again by Appleby in the net. Puck away, Lewandowski gets it out to Mangoni, who takes the Falcon down to the ice. McKinley was the one. He lost his stick, Mangoni did. Puck back to the Bowling Green Falcons, and they're able to hold on to it.
I think they call that a horse collar in football, but
yeah, they do.
Nothing there.
Both battling for the puck. And the puck was close to them, so they're probably not going to make that call. And good on the referees today as well for eating the whistles as much as they have. There's been some that could be called, but they would be ticky-tacky. A pretty clean game played and a clean game called as well. Ramos pass into the slot, and it's blocked away. Tyler Hodson up the right wing. He's got Duran with him if he can get open ice. Hodson looks for a pass. He does so to Duran in the corner. Duran takes it down to the goal line. Emerson centers it, picked off by Piku. Lead pass up, won't land, and it's going to be an icing against the Lakers. Hunter Ramos was streaking, and Piku couldn't find him.
Only 10:35 remaining now. Not a lot of time if you're Lake Superior State getting back on the board. And for them, clearing out the puck, stopping what was otherwise a really, really good look from the Falcons offense is a good outcome, but icing it away and having to do a face-off again in your own defensive zone, just not a great situation here.
Jeremy Minville puts a hit on back in the corner. Sternberg taps, trying to get the opposing team to pass in the puck, but that rarely, if ever, works. Karodiak, lead pass up to Foe down the left wing. Foe turns it back around toward the blue line. Won't give it up, and he turns the puck over because of it. It's out to center ice. Down the right wing comes Teleguin. He gives it up. Slot try for Ryan Beck. He couldn't settle it down. He carries it into the corner. Minville comes up with the puck. Brett Foe's going to get a talking to. His turnover led to a 3-on-2 the other way, and luckily enough, Ryan Beck couldn't get a clean tape on the rubber. Karodiak to Minville. Minville tips it ahead. It doesn't have the legs to get to the goal line, so Bellinger is going to have to play it. Up to Sternberg. He catches it in his chest. Sternberg down the left wing. Backhand pass in tight with Wynot. Now Levis in the corner plays it. Up to center ice. Falcon defenseman grab the puck. Outlet pass to Connor Levis. Levis backhands it in to Appleby. Right in front of him. Trying to hold on to a 2-1 deficit. Not let the Falcons, who have dominated the O-zone, make it any worse. Wynot leaves the puck back. Connor Levis working in. Good shot into Appleby. He saves it and holds on in his own crease. 9:10 to go in the third period. 2-1. The Falcons lead. Brett Foe, the score, 1:27 into this third period, assisted by Braden Crampton, stands as the game winner right now. Juniper Brewing Company timeout brought to you by Juniper Brewing Company, located at 145 South Main Street in downtown Bowling Green. Visit them or go to their website at juniperbrew.com. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
BGSU men's basketball guard Javante Campbell made a game-winning layup against Toledo with 1.6 seconds remaining on February 21st, 2025, giving BG their first win at Savage Arena since 2021. Falcon Media Sports Network's Tyler Kavlitz had the call of the shot on Falcon Radio.
It's Campbell with the ball, driving inside, layup's no good, rebounded by Exact, the putback's no good. Johnson fights for it, it's kicked back out to Exact, inside to Campbell. Campbell puts the layup, it goes with 1.6 seconds remaining. Javante Campbell with the huge shot, possible shot of the year for Bowling Green. They take the lead with 1.6 seconds remaining over Toledo, 69-68.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
Check out the Zig Zone Sundays from 4 to 6 p.m. here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Back here in the Slater Family Ice Arena, Brett Foe with a low-angle squeaker goal that worked through Rourke Appleby. The second time the Lake Superior State goaltender's been beaten today, and the Falcons lead 2-1. Ben Korak, myself, alongside Holden Ruck from the Falcon Media Sports Network. For all BGSU sports news and updates, go to bgfalconmedia.com, BG_FMSN on Twitter X. Holden, a clean game we've seen so far, a very tight game. It's going to come down to the wire in this last 9 minutes and 10 seconds.
It's going to be really, really close, and I think it's going to be just a question of if these teams can continue to stay clean like this.
Norris, a quick shot in. It was screened, and Appleby still looking it into his chest. He holds on after the whistle. 28 shots on goal for the Falcons, 12 more than Lake State has. 28 faceoffs won for the Falcons, 10 more than Lake State has. They have dominated in so many different ways today and have only been able to find the net one more time. And that one even could have been considered a poor play by the goaltender. Maybe one that he should have saved. Down the left wing comes Hunter Ramos to give it up. To the right wing, Connor Milburn. Back to Ramos. No shot on goal. It was swiped away by Dalton Norris, the captain, up the center. Levis down back to battle with Mike Brown and Adam Baroni for the puck, and Barone will come up. Here's Harrington in the corner. Give away. Waters. Quick shot. Save made by Appleby. Back to the right wing. Pass up. Harrington. Picked off by Stjernberg, and he dumps it back down. Circles around, Karodiak off, McKinley on. That's the only change the Falcons need. Turnover, in tight, backdoor chance. A big one there for the Falcons. They couldn't capitalize. The pass went right under the stick of Brody Waters. Piku tried to center this one. He did so, but through Harrington. That would have been a big goal to get for the Falcons.
Definitely would have felt more comfortable with your lead for the Falcons. That one so close. Brody Waters just not able to net it.
Lake State in their own zone. Lead pass up to Teleguin, who gets bumped by Ben Duran. We'll keep mentioning Ben Duran, a finalist for Defensive Forward of the Year last year. Also being as great of a scorer as he is, Duran is one of the more vital players on this Falcon team and has the assist on one of the Falcons' 2 goals today. Duran through center. He kind of gets tripped up there as he tries to hop over the stick. Almost a very nice play, but he loses the puck because of it, and the Lakers in their own zone. Bushy D to D pass. Draskinis' shifts have got a bit few and far between. He's back out on the ice now. Beck plays it back around to Bushy, and now Lake State looks to break it out. This pass picked off by Brett Foe. Brett Foe, his pass won't land. And back up to center ice. 2-on-1 the other way. Ryan Beck, right wing. Lewandowski left. Ryan Beck. The shot goes wide left of Cole Moore. He never even got a touch on it. A 2-on-1 breakaway. 3 breakaways this game so far, and none of the 3 have scored for Lake State. Their lone goal, Adam Barone, as he took it down the right wing side. Jake Sloan takes it up the right wing side for the Falcons now.
But I tell you what, Ben, that's the kind of thing that Lake State's going to have to find, really. At this point, only 6:20 left in this one. They're going to need a spark.
Certainly as of right now, you're looking back on those breakaways as opportunities to score. That's up to the right wing side. Minville with the puck. Backhands it down behind the goal line. Played through the slot. Minville got tied up. Ramos takes it away for Lake State. Stjernberg down into the corner. A race for the puck between Wynot and Mike Brown. And Mike Brown gets to the puck first. Off the half wall out to center. Lake State can't break through the Falcon defense. BG's keeping it neutral ice or north of it. Almost this entire third period that's only got 5 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Tanner Scott down into the corner. Connor Levis with the puck. Back up to the blue line. Poked deeper by Braden Crampton. Into the corner. Waters goes, battles for the puck. Caleb Mangoni. A Falcon will come off. Connor Levis been out there for a minute, and Grant will check in for him. Puck still pinned up in the corner. Lake State to get it out. They skate it out with their legs. Barone gives it up. Connor Milburn, the shot in goes wide right, and he shot that from outside of the Falcon blue line. 5 minutes to go in the third period, 2-1, the Falcons lead. Brett Foe assisted by Brayton Crampton. The game-winning goal as it stands right now, but they got to hold on or at least get another.
You know, it feels like a cliche, but the Falcon defense just not allowing Lake State a lot of opportunities. That third period, they've really turned it on compared to what we saw in the second.
Teleglin down the right wing, gets some open ice. He wraps it around the left side of the goal, up to Bushy, back up to the point. Juskinis gives it up, high slot. Brandon Piku the shot, good block there by Niedermeyer. Piku, slap shot, Teleglin, blocked by Stjernberg. The defenseman blocking here in clutch time. Ulrich with the puck, gives it up. Teleglin, kick save made by Cole Moore off of his stick as well. 4:15 to go in the third period. Bowling Green back into the Lake State end. And now you're worried about when Rourke Appleby's going to come out of the net. A 1-goal lead, so probably about 2 minutes to go in the game. They'll want to pull him. Mangoni with the puck off the half wall, down behind the goal line. Higgins plays it. Lake State will have to reset, get back on sides. The Falcons with the puck. McKinley, lead pass up to Brett Foe. Pass across the slot. Emerson working in tight. A big chance there for Jeremy Minville in front. Never landed to him, but a lethal pass.
Nice job by the Falcons, not only eating up time remaining in the game, but taking their time to set up a good chance. Minville unable to capitalize, though.
Lewandowski the shot. Left-hand glove save by Cole Moore to hold on to the puck. 3:28 to go in the third period. Lake State's going to get an ozone faceoff, and we'll see what they do with Appleby here. It would be a bit early to pull the goaltender.
Definitely a bit premature to make that move. I mean, very, very susceptible to a third Bowling Green goal at that point, which certainly would wrap this one up. But
the way this game has gone as well, when are you going to get another offensive zone faceoff either?
You're not wrong.
Harrington and Grant, and for the draw. Grant ties up Harrington's stick. The puck is won back to Bowling Green. It's pinned up in the left wing corner. Appleby still in the crease for Lake State. Probably got about a minute before he exits. 3 minutes, 15 seconds left in the third period. Crampton off of as high of the glass as you can go without sending it over. Into central ice, off of what looked to be a Laker and into the Laker bench. But the faceoff is going to be center ice anyway.
Just 3:07 remaining now. I mean, we keep talking about it. It's getting really, really close to that time where you're going to have an extra skater on the ice here. But with the Bowling Green defense playing the way it has, I'm not sure that they're too uncomfortable in this situation right now at all.
Both defensemen seemingly playing more back than they would forward, and at this juncture of the game, you're less focused on scoring the goal as you are preventing an opponent goal. About 3 minutes to go in the third period. Emerson in for the draw, wins it back. Stjernberg with the puck. He dumps it in deeper to Lake State. Antonacci to play it. Hodson spins him out. Duran on a big forecheck as well. Harrington fumbles with the puck a bit. It's up to center ice. Lake State with it down the right wing. Mike Brown, the alternate captain, loses the puck. Antonacci will be the first back, and an icing against the Falcons. But they were on the positive side of the center line, it looked like. Falcon bench is all up on their skates. And the face-off looks like it's going to be center ice. So overruled was the linesman that made the call. We'll tell you the referees today, although we haven't had too many penalties to talk about them. Jake Rakucki, Logan Hollow, Jonathan Satarski, and Pat Giles. Pat Giles and Logan Hollow, the only two repeat referees here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. The other two, I don't even recognize their names. In here for normally Steve McKinchak and a couple of other rotating referees here in the slate. Poked back, Brody Waters to get back at the puck. He's shrugged away. And Lake State comes the other way now. 2:26 to go in the third period. Appleby out of the crease and over toward the bench. Beck loses the puck. It's up at center ice. Grant to poke it ahead. He does poke it ahead. Hunter Ramos comes up with it though. Puck still at center ice. No goaltender. Lifted over toward the empty net. No icing Brandon Wynot with the try. He comes off, Hodson comes on. Down the left wing, Connor Milburn, he fires it in. Cole Moore saves it into the corner. William Ulrich, puck outside the blue line. Lakers will have to reset. 1:50 to go in the third period. The Falcons with it. McKinley off the half wall. Lead pass up. Hodson in. Deep for Ben Duran, who get there first with Hunter Ramos. Duran with the puck on the left wing side. The Falcons in the O-zone. No goaltender. Down at the blue line. Hodson try for the empty net. Off the post! Down back behind the goal line, and the Lakers will come up with possession. That could change the game. The miss right there. A 1-goal lead for the Falcons with a buck and a half to go.
Couldn't have been much closer there, but just right off the pipe.
Milburn to Teleguin in center ice. That one might come back to haunt the Falcons. We'll have to see. No goaltender still. 6 skaters for the Lakers. Down the right wing comes Teleguin. Stjernberg down behind the goal line. He's pressured by 3 Lakers who are down south of that line to break. A minute to go in the third period. 6 skaters for the Lakers, 5 for the Falcons. No goaltender. And the puck outside the blue line. Lake State gets all back on sides. Evan Bushy with the puck in his own zone. Worked up the right wing. Mangoni off the half wall. Chipped up in the air over the head of a couple of Lakers and poked back down. 40 seconds to go in the third period. Falcons holding on to a 2-1 lead right now. Lewandowski tips it ahead. 3 Falcons back will be the first to get there. Norris to ice it down. The Falcons battling for the puck. Ryman down to the other end. Picked off center ice. A long shift now for the Lakers, who can't seem to get off. 20 seconds to go in the third. Up for Tyler Hodson. He'll have a try. Hodson spins it around. He's dropped down to the ice. A penalty upcoming to the Lakers. Hodson might get a goal put in. There's no goaltender. A penalty shot would have been awarded to Tyler Hodson, but he's going to be given the goal on the penalty there by Evan Bushy to try and save the game, and makes it a 3-1 lead for the Falcons.
15.2 seconds left. That's all but going to do it here. And wow, that's not what you see every day, Ben.
There was no goaltender, so the penalty that directly infringed Hodson's ability to make a shot on goal could not have been a penalty shot because there's no goaltender, so the goal is awarded and hands the Falcons a 3-1 win with 15 seconds to go in the third period. A much needed 3 points for the Falcons, and a tight game played by the Lakers that'll end in a pretty devastating loss. Down the left wing, Galloway leaves it in. Korodiak. The puck out to Tanner Scott on the left side. Scott up the center ice. Wynot pokes it ahead. Time expires. 3 periods of play, a 3-1 hard-fought victory for the Falcons. 3 points toward their CCHA standings at the stripe for the top. Bowling Green wins 3-1, 3 wins in 3 games over Lake State this season. We'll unpack it in a post-game show in a little bit, and stay tuned for the Bill and Karen Hoffert Stars of the Game. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
BGSU Gymnastics hits the road for the first time this season to take on the Ball State Cardinals in Muncie, Indiana, on Sunday, January 18th in Maxham. Falcon Media Sports Network's Noah Seeley will have the recap of the meet on bgfalconmedia.com.
You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM in Bowling Green, Ohio.
This is Phil Beskid, BGSU Radio Faculty Advisor. You can catch all the Falcon Media Sports Network broadcasts on our 2 stations, WBGU 88.1 FM and Falcon Radio, which can both be found on bgfalconmedia.com. Ziggy.
This is a Falcon Media Sports Network studio update.
Nate Henners here with you one more time in the WBGU 88.1 FM studio, getting a look at what's going on around the CCHA this evening. Of course, we just had the Bowling Green Falcons defeat Lake Superior State 3-1. Also going final, Michigan Tech Huskies defeating the Minnesota State Mavericks 3-1 as well. Still in action right now with 7:55 left in the second period. Augustana up on Ferris State 3-0, and also in the second, but with 12:19 left, St. Thomas up on Bemidji State 2-1. That's a look at what's going on around the CCHA. Right now, let's toss things out to Ben Korak and Holden Ruck over at the Slater Family Ice Arena for our post-game show. How's it going out there?
Pretty well, an electric atmosphere right now as they're celebrating the guys making their rounds around the student section, and a couple of fans here as they completed a 3-1 win, as Nate said just a little bit ago. And they essentially dominated the Lakers and ended up coming up with the win in the end. Quinn Emerson, the first goal of the game within the first minute of the game, the only goal in the first period. Only goal in the second period, Lake State's Adam Barone got his third goal of the season, tied it up 1-1, and then 2 goals in the third period. Brett Foe with his game-winning goal, and Tyler Hodson with an empty net on a penalty, and what would have been a penalty shot, but empty net. He's just given credit for the goal, and that's how the Falcons got to 3-1. Third star of the game is going to be Tyler Hodson. He assisted Quinn Emerson's goal. That was the first goal of the game. He also scored the empty net goal at the end that iced the game away. Brett Foe, the second star of the game, with his game-winning goal that he had in the third period. That one a low angle and kind of squeaked through Rourke Appleby. And then the first star of the game, very much deserved. 18 save, 1 goal allowed shutout for Cole Moore today. He's the Bill and Karen Hoffert first star of the game today. Holden, a very tight game today here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. Maybe tighter than the Falcons would like to see it, but they did end up coming away with 3 points. They came away with the win and never-ending strive for that top seed in the CCHA. They got a little bit closer today.
Yeah, and I tell you what, you look at that result between Michigan Tech and Minnesota State as well. The Huskies dropping the Mavericks, and suddenly the middle of that pack, the potential home seeding, looks a lot tighter now. So it's definitely going to be something to watch as the season progresses. But a big one tonight for Bowling Green. You know, fell into a little bit of those second period woes that we've known them to have this year, but nevertheless in the third period, you know, showed why they're one of the hottest teams, as hot of a team as there is right now in the CCHA. And again, I know we named him our first star of the game, but Cole Moore, a .947 save percentage, as good of an outing as he's had all year once again tonight, and stepping up big time for the Falcons.
His last 3 games started, a win versus Ohio State here in the Slater Family Ice Arena, a 1 goal allowed win versus Ferris State, and a 16-save night last week against Ferris State, and then tonight a 1 goal allowed game again, and another win for Cole Moore, who's got 3 in a row. A big start to 2026 for the junior goaltender, much needed for the Falcons, and Bowling Green takes 3 more points. They sit at 30 in the CCHA standings. Michigan Tech, with their win that Nate talked about just a little bit ago, that puts them at 31 points in the CCHA standings. So the Falcons are tied with St. Thomas and Augustana for second. St. Thomas currently leading Bemidji, Augustana currently leading Ferris State. So they could be just ahead of Minnesota State, but they do gain ground on the rest of the CCHA, and a big win, 3 points. They'll try it again tomorrow here in the Slater Family Ice Arena. Another attempt at 3, much needed. Holden, it was an absolute pleasure calling the game with you today, as always, and hopefully we'll get another one before the season's over as well.
Absolutely pleasure to be here. Great environment, great atmosphere, and a big win for the Falcons.
Thank you as well to Nate Henners back in the Cooling Center studio that board up our game today. Nate, you're the best, and have a safe trip home as well, and we'll talk to you guys all again tomorrow. 7:07 puck drop, Lake State versus Bowling Green here in the Slater Family Ice Arena, right here on WBGU 88.1 FM. So we will say we'll see you tomorrow here in the Slate or on WBGU 88.1 FM, your home for Falcon hockey.
This broadcast has been a Falcon Media Sports Network production. For more BGSU sports news and updates, follow Falcon Media Sports Network on Twitter X at BG_FMSN, BG Falcon Media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and head over to BGFalconMedia.com.